All right, here we are, everybody. Welcome back to We Play Games. I'm Walker, and here we are in Humankind, about to do Bantu Madness. So the one of the multiplayer people that I've been talking to in preparation for doing some amount of multiplayer here on the channel. We'll see how much time we have to actually put together those sorts of things, but we're going to attempt to do some of it. But they've been very kind in terms of offering me information and things that I can like translate into something for everybody else at home to learn from. Because there's just like grotesque misevaluations for me sometimes when it comes to my experience in Humankind. And one of them is an ancient era culture that I don't remember what grade I gave it on the last tier list video that I did 10,000 years ago, but I'm sure I gave it like the wrong grade because of what the other players were describing to me in terms of play patterns. So this is, I think, like an important preface to the remainder of this stream. Looking back at our VIP stream, like just reflecting on the behaviors that I exhibited even during the exploration phase, during the Neolithic period. We're playing here with the mod tools on. We're not using it because I don't know how to use it, but at some point we're going to have to bully Bruno into teaching everyone how I am supposed to be interacting with this, so that way you can figure out how to interact with it at home. But one thing that we did in that VIP stream was sort of like indirectly we settled along rivers anyway, because that's where like a lot of the widgets were whenever we were setting up outposts. So that means that like there's sort of a natural developmental pace to the way that your culture is going to interact with the environment. But it also means that like depending on what rule settings you're playing with, there are going to be pretty drastically different outcomes in terms of like what is good, what is bad, like how you are supposed to even assess things. Like if we were playing with a bunch of lakes, right? If we were just playing with way more lakes, then I would assume that I would probably be playing with Phoenicians more often on VIP because of the way that it leverages that economy. So like there are a lot of choices that you can make in regards to changing the map to meet your player preferences, and I think that's just neat. Whatever, it doesn't really matter what size we're playing on today, because all we are going to be doing today over the course of this stream, however long it's going to be, this one is probably only going to be an hour or two, because we're really just going to like see if we can figure out what Bantu is up to, how to use it, and then try to integrate that into like future streams where we can actually get value out of the culture instead of just looking at it and saying, I don't know what this does, it seems strange, I'm not going to click on it, let's go on. So we're going to play here with exclusive cultures turned off. I generally think exclusive cultures on is like a net very good for Humankind. I love exclusive cultures generally, but just for science, of course, we are going to take that off here so we can always take Bantu and then just see what we can do with it. But the basic play pattern that it was described to me by Krohadila, I think is the name. I can't remember words. It's kind of just the way it works when it comes to Walker's brain. I'll try to remember the name and post it in the description somewhere. But he mentioned that basically what you're supposed to be doing with Bantu is trying to get a bunch of population during the Neolithic period, which we already do that on the channel, so that seems like a big check mark that we can just like translate into value for everybody. And then you want to set up like 2 outposts where there's space in between them to put like multiple outposts that can be adjacent to both of them. And then you flip over into the ancient era, translate the 2 like independent outposts into cities, and then just use your population from the Neolithic era to just bombard the middle of the map with outposts. And if you do that, rather than attempting to go wide with them, which I've been trying to do and like failing to do so, and therefore not using them the way that they really work, if you, instead of using them to attempt to go wide, you attempt to go tall and generate just ridiculously enormous amounts of food using their emblematic quarter, their special outpost, that they're really good. And so I'm excited to see how they actually work in practice. That is of course going to mean that like once we get through the ancient era, we are not going to be playing again. We're going to loop back and start a new game with just like a different map and see what happens with different AI and different outcomes, because that's also kind of valuable from a science standpoint if you're trying to learn how to use a specific object. If you're trying to learn how to play the entire game, honestly, I would just play the entire game, see what happens. At a certain point you may like discover that you can predict what happens kind of like after turn 40 or 50 or whatever. Like if your first war war goes well, you're probably going to win. If your first war goes badly, you're probably going to lose. That's really what it boils down to in humankind. And that's why I like fighting with autos only against the AI, because if otherwise, like, you just can't lose in the game, and I do not have to reflect on my mistakes in terms of gameplay, and then I will not improve as a player. And that's just true of most people, honestly. They'll remember the things that they did that made them feel good, and then they'll forget to reflect on the things that made them feel bad. And that's just like a normal human thing. Humankind, come on, man. I know you can do better, computer. You can fight through the pain. I could also just be playing on a smaller map. Maybe we'll do that for the next couple of runs. So that way this map gen doesn't take as long, because we don't need a gigantic map probably in order to get value out of Bantu, is my guess. All right, so we are playing on vanilla, and we will be playing on vanilla on Monday. So that means that we do not have the advantage of starting with an extra pop. That's a big bummer. I really do think that the Ludo narrative communicated by the Neolithic cinematic intro encourages cooperative gameplay between tribes. So I'd really prefer it if we started with at least one more. But if that's somehow impossible, then that's why we play VIP, because it's really fun. Oh no, oh god, this is like the worst possible kind of pickup to be forced to go to, because I think we have to go to this. I don't see any way for us to backtrack, but like this could potentially be 5 food, and then we just have like a start that doesn't do anything. Yeah, we have a start that just doesn't do anything. This is the real RNG problem with humankind. Some of these starts are ridiculous nonsense as a consequence of like rules in regards to food pickup. But it's okay. We're not really playing all the way through. We're just figuring out what Bantu does. So we need to find not these tiles. It doesn't look like these tiles are going to support a Bantu strategy anyway, because we need like some things where there's multiple tiles adjacent to each other. So this might even just be like a bad spawn for them. That's another thing that's like kind of complicated to assess whenever it comes to like some of these specific cultures. They might be really, really powerful situationally, but if the situation is not there, then how you actually assess, is this object good or bad, cannot be just, is this a high roll culture? Because high roll cultures, I think, have problems too. If you have to have a very particular setup to have like a good start, then it's not too powerful. All right, so plant lore versus bright ornaments. In the VIP stream I took plant lore. That's mostly because food is better on VIP, but I still think it probably would have been correct for me to take bright ornaments. I don't know how like people in the multiplayer community feel about that, but it certainly feels like that is the stronger overall pick most of the time. All right, well, speaking of stronger overall pick most of the time, it should be this, but we really do want just like pops so that we can see if this start even has a map that we can use, because so far it's looking like there's not even the right tile setup for us to use Bantu. There's 1, 2, I don't know, this doesn't look like it. What, Bruno? I mean, I'm gonna just flood the zone. I don't know what you want from me. Like, I'm gonna make enough content for humankind to catch up for like 6 months of not making humankind content that makes it impossible to parse. That's my promise to you. I will make enough content that it is useful to no one. that is going to be the maintained stream. Sometimes it will be like way more than is useful, and sometimes it will be way less than is useful, but it will never be the right amount. That much I promise. Okay, so if we did here, then this would have an adjacent tile here and here and here. So maybe this is a good spot for a Bantu outpost to be set up on, maybe. So this is 16, whatever. This is probably good enough, and then we can use those. I just like don't want to have to restart if we don't have to, or rather I don't want to have to restart before we are, you know, out of ancient, unless we have to. I still broadly speaking like the astronomy thing rather than Waddle and Daub, but like the playthrough that I did for Postmortem where we used Waddle and Daub and Babylonians was very fun. It was a lot more fun than the gameplay, because I had to do insane things in terms of engaging my brain, but it was probably one of the things that I have had the most fun doing in a very long time. Okay, so yes, there's another thing out there for us to potentially turn in, but we do need like a second outpost down here. Thank goodness we found mammoths, so this gives us an opportunity to get more influence, but I'm pretty sure, again, this is the instant resolution solution. I desperately need better feedback from the game. Please, Amplitude, I want to learn what is happening here. I think we're probably going to be shit out of luck because we're standing on a river and above these guys, but oh, no, I'll take that. I'll absolutely take that on vanilla. I think we probably wouldn't have gotten, yeah, we definitely wouldn't have gotten 2 pops out of that on VIP, but we still would have gotten value out of it. But we need way more pops than this to flip into Bantu. So let's try to get there. Let's get a lot more pops, like fighting wherever that mammoth is coming from, and that'll also give us enough influence to flip 2 cultures or like 2 cities simultaneously. Guy Blue, get out of here. I'm so pumped for whenever the AI stops flipping on 1 star. That sounds like it's going to dramatically increase the difficulty in ways that I am not currently like skilled enough to do while streaming. But that is, I'd say, a feature, not a bug. I can stream more, right? You can always stream more and then get better practice. That is not too difficult. But that's like why I don't like recording. It feels a little empty without the madness of trying to talk the entire time. Are we gonna get this one? All right, good. We got this one too. Excellent. Not doing that until you're home next week. I mean, that's fine. Like my time is immaterial, Bruno. We will work on this until it feels kind of irresponsible for me to keep doing it, and then I'll have to assess what I am doing from there. But like, we got some time. It sounds like we're going to be covering Endless Legend too whenever like it is appropriate to do so. But I want to work on Humankind. I've struggled immensely in terms of like how to figure out how to work on Humankind, because it is a complicated problem to me. But I want to work on Humankind, and I think that this is going to be the format that is going to be the right combination of something I feel like I can do and something I want to do. Let's see. I guess we could stand here to like make that guy not move away, and then we could send these 2 over here to set up for the fight down next turn. We do need, yeah, we really didn't hit like amazing rolls, but it looks like maybe there's another tile here where we could set up an outpost, and then we could have, oh, great. Yeah, just walk straight onto a freshwater tile that you're just blindly walking into, Walker. Perfect. It looks like probably this tile here is maybe adjacent to this and this and this, and then there would be those 2, and then the space to share for Mtepe or whatever. I guess we'll find out when we click down there. And this is a 5 food, so we will be able to merge back. So yeah, we'll have a reasonable number of pops once we're done fighting everybody. Doop. All right. Let's see. Let's go. Okay, so there. That was 5. So this should be. So this is another thing that I definitely like spewed on in the VIP stream. One of the mammoth fights that we could have taken, I actually could have taken with 2. Like the one that got away. I actually forgot that like one of the pops that I moved in had like movement points remaining, and so like could have also run away with the child and then start a fight immediately, and instead I just like did not do that, and then the mammoth ran away, and then we didn't get the star, and we didn't get any of the neat little bonuses. Like, it is a great learning stream from the perspective of just watching bad micro. Hopefully I can get to a great learning stream where you can watch it and learn good micro. That is the ultimate target there. Buoyant. All right, so this one, I feel like for these sorts of triggers where you're getting extra movement speed or whatever, they're really good if you can get them on a bunch of dudes, but because they kind of like go onto the stack that they're associated with, I have a difficult time ever taking those sort of military bonuses in the Neolithic period. That could also be a function of like not doing manuals against the map, but that's where it is. Yeah, let's see what we get. All right, yeah, sure. We'll keep doing that trade. We're just getting 1 pop and 1 billion influence every time, so I don't see any reason to be upset about that. And so we should be able to set that up, and then maybe 1 more mammoth fight, and then we can flip. I think that's probably what we want to do. But I don't know if this is actually like in the right spot. This might not connect down here, so we might have to send you down just to scout. Just to see, are we looking at a map gen that supports Bantu or not? Sure. Yeah, we'll take stone weapons, whatever. Yeah, we'll have to scout down here to see if this actually does support Bantu or not. Oh, it does. All right, sweet. Yeah, so like way down here, it connects on this tile to go over here and this tile to go over here. These tiles are like modernist masterpieces. They're so weird looking that I don't know how to interpret them, but that's a vibe. I'm okay with that. I'm evidently very okay with that. That is where the channel is at the moment, because that's where my vibes are at the moment. But I hope that is fine with people. All right, so we do need slightly more pops in order to justify this, because what we need are like effectively at least 8 that we can just like run in and grab. This is an outpost immediately and this is an outpost immediately, and you can do that with Bantu if you have 4 tribes, but I don't really want to do that with only 10 pops, so we need to get a couple more pops here before we try that out. This does look like a setup where I would not be attempting to do Bantu normally because of what is going on the map, but that's okay. You learn through iteration. So if we're going to have maybe another mammoth coming out, because there's a non-zero chance we get another mammoth off that sanctuary, let's move you down to scout, see if we can find any more food anywhere. I guess you can hang out. I don't know if a mammoth spawns, it might spawn and then get stuck on this tile, and that might be good and that might be bad depending on where those guys end up. But it doesn't look like there's any more river food out here, so let's go up on the mountain. No, it doesn't look like there's anybody over there. Yeah, you hang out, camp the sanctuary. Give me another mammoth. Another mammoth, baby, please? No, no mammoth. Food. Anybody got any food? Please give me some food. I want to see what these are like when we get food and they are good, rather than what they are like when we do not get food and they are bad. Testing to see what the ideal situation looks like. It can also tell you that the ideal situation does not arise as often as you would like, and that's where I think that's like a good part of creating a good tier list, is understanding that risk and ways that it cannot be obliterated without just obliterating the tactical AI. But it does look like we're gonna not. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're gonna get the 12 pops that Krohadila actually like recommended that we have. So we're just gonna have to. I think we're just gonna have to see what it looks like when Bantu is bad here, and then we'll see on the next spawn if we can get a better map set up. That's okay. As long as we pull these pops back, we'll still be able to hit outpost. But yeah, this looks like it is a map dependent strategy that revolves around manualing mammoths, which I consider that a weak strategy, like just as a consequence of the way that assesses risk. All right, let's click through to the next one. Did we get no freaking mammoth? All right, god damn it. And because of movement blocking, we're not actually able to get that food either. And we lost this tile. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's go back to main menu, and let's do another Bantu stream. Like, this is all you are signed up for today, Bruno, is we're trying to figure out if, like, Bantu does anything. It seems like it probably does, but, like, there are just such huge deltas between food collection in the Neolithic that you can't always get to the 12 population, and then you also can't always get to a map, like a map setup that, like, affords you the tiles required in order to actually make use of it. Maybe we should, oh god damn it, I said what, maybe we should make the map smaller so that, like, that section doesn't take as long, but apparently it didn't take as long that time, so I don't know what that means. All right, we already have this guy. I mean, it could be. I want to see the situations where it is good, because I still don't really understand what they do. But if what they do is, like, abuse the tactical AI, then that doesn't tell me anything. If it just abuses the tactical AI well, then I cannot give that a good grade. But I also don't know what they do when things are going well. So, like, I have to do this stream. It is my homework. Whether or not you want to watch Walker doing his homework is kind of up to you, but this is how you make a tier list that is useful to people, is that you play the things that you don't understand and you try to learn from them. You can also make warriors as Bantu. So Bruno, I'll tell you what Krohadila told me, which this does look like it's probably going to be a much better spawn for Bantu. But basically what he recommended doing was getting a bunch of pops really early and then setting up 2 independent outposts with space in between it. So it wouldn't work as well probably on VIP, but, like, set up those 2 outposts, then make sure that you have, like, a bunch of pops to just, like, hurl at the board in the spaces between those outposts as soon as you flip into Ancient. Like, make sure you have enough influence to turn those 2 into cities. Turn them into cities, nuke all of your pops into the board, get a gazillion food in those cities, and then it, like, sets you up to do star overflow into the classical era. So it's another thing that, like, might not be as good on VIP because of the rules there, but, like, that's okay. If it's something that you have made a little less powerful once I see what it does, then I don't care. Like, that's fine. If it really is broken, then I'm happy if you've nerfed it a little bit. This one, Bruno, I don't know. Like, I tried plant lore in the VIP stream, but I do honestly think that bright ornaments is probably better, like, even there almost all of the time, because it's just such a tiny amount of food and cash is so important. But, like, I don't know if there's a way to balance that, because if it were +2 food, I mean, I would try it, honestly. If you gave me +2 food on plant lore, I would see how it feels. But it kind of feels like that's sort of where it needs to be for me to be super interested. All right, we're going to stand here and not attack, so that way, hopefully, the mammoth moves down. But if the mammoth doesn't, then we can still move back down to that freshwater pickup. I think that's a change that you made, Bruno. That's absolutely correct. Freshwater pickups should be 10. There should be a shit ton of them, like, just so many. But, like, I think broadly speaking, a lot of the math that Bruno has changed in regards to VIP, we will see here on Vanilla whenever we stream on Monday. I just think it produces a better game on Vanilla, or on VIP. I think it just works better. It gives the AI, like, an enormous advantage because it's just balanced towards their behaviors, but I think that is good because that also means that it's balanced kind of towards average player behaviors in my observation. I think that the data that Amplitude collects, I'm almost certain would support that assertion. I'd be astounded if there aren't a lot of people taking relatively inefficient turns as a consequence of the AI telling them to take 10,000 picks, like 10,000 fame in the early game. And so Bruno says highly focused industry focus start with things like Egyptian or Mycenaean, increase the value of plant lore, while ones like Harappans or Panayuyan work better off of money per pop. Yeah, I could see that for sure. I just feel like generically, even with Mycenaeans, like having a bunch of extra random like money makes your military way stronger. All right, so this one I am again not super confident that we're gonna win this reasonably because of instant resolution not telling me what's going on here, but I'm pretty sure most of the time you can win these fights. Yeah, there we go. So there's got to be a random factor in terms of combat. Like just watching the consequences of combat rolls, almost certainly there's a rolling system involved. I'm fine with that, by the way. I think honestly that is good. I think if your combat system involves literal zero randomness, then you don't understand warfare. That is really what it boils down to. And if Amplitude is hiding that information from us because they're embarrassed that someone is going to complain, I will fight that person in real life. I talk a lot about being a chunky monkey, but the unfortunate thing is that like the job that, I won't say unfortunate. The interesting thing is that the like kind of pseudo job that I got is helping out an old dude go to the gym. And he's a really cool dude, and we've just been like hanging out and talking about history because he's a retired history professor. He had a stroke, so he just needs somebody to like help him, get to the gym and do fun stuff. And like now, although I am still not a healthy man, I am a considerably less unhealthy man, and that means that the threat of fight me in real life is more real now. I'm going to emerge like Plato, where none of his ideas are correct, but he is a retired wrestler and he will fight you. All right, there we go. I think the rest of this looks okay in terms of stuff. It's the industry versus science one in general. The science one is better, but there are cases where the industry one is better, like the Babylonian. Yeah, Bruno, that was legit. Like that was, I had to follow your advice there and play Babylonians for that playthrough. But it was a lot of fun doing that. Like that opened my eyes to like entirely different veins of assessing the game, and that's what I like. That is what I like doing. It might freak people out sometimes, but that is what I like doing. I want to understand what is happening in this game on a level that probably makes no sense to people who want to just play the game and ignore the stuff going on. I guess we'll just go here. I'm okay with that because this saves us a turn, and then we can just, if we end up with a lot of extra influence from mammoth fighting out here, we can move it. But if not, it doesn't really matter if the widgets are a little lower. That doesn't bother me, and it shouldn't bother you. Turns are incredibly powerful in basically every 4X. That's what I need to do. I need to, next time, we're just going to pay more attention in the early game. I don't think it's going to be too difficult to do that, because I was very obviously hilariously distracted in the first stream for I just want to play Humankind. I think if we just don't do that, if we just have air conditioning, I think we'll do better. Ooh, all right. Yes, I will gladly take another deer fight out here. Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna get animals this time. So this looks like this is gonna be a much better spawn for Bantu. Oh, crap! I should have done this beforehand, but whatever. I'll take the 20 influence anyway. So yeah, Bruno says one common criticism is that all playthroughs are the same. There is no variety, and while you agree on vanilla, there are different strategies. Those players just don't engage with them. Yeah, I agree. I know that there are things that I am not doing correctly in terms of like player behavior, especially on VIP. But like, I'm sure that some of those are also translatable to vanilla in terms of assessment. Because like, although you change a lot, like the rules of the game are. They're not the same, but they have enough overlapping similarities that they shouldn't be alien to anyone who plays the game. I guess we'll go here, and then maybe the mammoth will run down there. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to set up a trap for the mammoth, have them like move into one of these low zones, which might be ritualistic behavior. This is important because we are trying to figure out how the instant resolve works, and because we do not have feedback, we are being forced to engage in pseudoscience and see if the results feel like they are moving in the correct direction. I do know about the Bantu curiosity spawn rules. I assume that's probably why people like using them occasionally, because like they give you the ability to just you can use everything to pick up, right? All right, let's go here. Let's go here, and let's go here, and then yes, see, we took a lot less damage in that fight. There almost certainly is a random roll element to it because of what happened over here, but like we are above and they are in a river. It seems almost certain that we are getting some sort of combat bonus there because it would make sense for us to get a combat bonus there. I just want to know what it means. What do these numbers mean? Tell me how to interpret this horrifying glyph that you have created, Amplitude, and I will interpret it. I will interpret your insane math for the masses. I really cannot help myself from doing so. Only the Bantu EU can pick it up. All right, so then what do you like? Are you saying like where they spawn on the map? Or are you saying like the? Because I remember that like the pacing on it on a normal at least felt really really rough. Because like you just weren't getting, at least whenever I dropped it, felt like I wasn't getting enough of them to care. All right, so we get 3. Yeah, we're gonna have a ton of them. The spawn rules. Yeah, okay. So no, I guess I don't then, Bruno. So what do you know about the spawn rules for the food here for the pickups? Do they have like a timer or something? Pick them up if you do it a non-nomad. Oh, if you pick it up with a non-nomad, it just gets wasted. So you have to have nomads around to pick them up. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have enough food here. Awesome. And potentially even another mammoth fight next turn, and it's gonna be like turn 7. Should we take stone weapons? I'm gonna take stone weapons. I don't know if it does anything or not, but there's a bear right there and a wounded tribe right here, and I think that means that I should get some combat strength. That is what it feels like. It feels like we should get combat strength. So they only spawn on unclaimed territories. If you place an outpost anywhere, that territory won't spawn them anymore. Okay, yeah. So like the other thing is like the reason that I have to do this stream as homework is that I think I understood like that there were issues with the Bantu where they were not functioning on certain map spawns, but I was just getting like I was just bouncing off of them as a consequence of like them getting a rough roll on the map, but I wasn't really attempting to use them where like they were not getting a rough roll on the map and were getting good stuff. And that could be just like an enormous amount of spew out of me, right? Like if something is good but risky, you can still get a lot of value out of it. You just have to know when you're supposed to be using it. And I definitely was, I feel pretty confident I was undervaluing the upside, which I get that that's not normal behavior for like regular content creators, but that's fine. I don't care. Like I'd be much happier undervaluing the upside than overhyping the object. That's just like that's just how I react to reality, if I am being entirely honest. Let's see. I guess we'll go here. We could even attempt to attack Bruno. If I reinforce into this 4-stack, can I also attack this guy out of the 4-stack? I feel like that would be weird if we could. I guess I'll send you two back so that way we can set up one outpost here. Oh, cool. Another deer for us to fight. Don't mind if I do. Boom. All right, sweet. So we're not gonna have a pop nearby to burn that down because I ran my units away before I realized that I should be burning down the sanctuary, because skill issues are just a consequence of so many things at once. But you're never gonna learn from them if you don't attempt to learn from them. You can pay attention to the game better than I am. I promise. That is true. All right, so we can grab that. Is that gonna be enough for a pop? I don't know. It might be a 5-footer, but at least if it is, we got a thing. All right. Yes, we got another pop. So we have 4 here. So we can grab this. Can you go here? Yeah, you can go there. And you could go there. So that's an outpost that we can set up next turn. And then this could be an outpost that we could set up next turn as well if we position our guys here. This central tile here looks like it is not good, but if we found it and have enough influence to then move it somewhere else before attaching it, because we won't be able to attach in the ancient era anyway, then that looks okay. So we get here, we get here, we have 2 cities, so we'll have like 20 food on each, and then we should be able to set up another outpost maybe down here pretty quickly after that. You think that we can't reinforce and then fight out because the stack already fought? I'd believe that. That is a thing where, like, I wish that I get that the UI for Humankind is supposed to be, like, elegant in its simplicity, and I think that is a good thing to strive towards, honestly. Like, if you put too many little dingly bops and widgets on your thing that it overwhelms the player, then, like, people are gonna freak out when they start playing your game in very reasonable terms. But if these guys cannot fight anymore, if the portrait were just, like, dimmed and grayed out a little bit to communicate, and then I could click on it and it would say, you know, like 0 out of 1 AP remaining because we took a fight already, then that would just let me know, like, at a glance, both visually and in terms of UI, that the fight is, like, not, that those guys can't fight. And that would also be something that would help me understand, like, when a reinforcing stack is not going to be involved in the setup for the instant resolution or not. I think because of the combat thing, like, I'm almost certain there is a combat role in regards to combat in the instant resolution for Humankind, which I will not litigate 10,000 times in the stream, I promise. But basically, that means that you kind of need brutal retreat rolls, otherwise people will attack, see if the roll isn't good, and then just not commit. And that's also bad. That's like I don't know, Bruno, if you watched the last stream long enough to get to optimal starvation. I don't think you really need to watch more than than past optimal starvation, but optimal starvation is also one of the things that I just that content makes me happy in ways that should confuse people. That content is not safe for the internet. It is too insane to function in real life. Speaking of, why don't you go burn down that sanctuary, Walker? Jesus, like, come on, man. Like, you're right there. You're right there. All right, let's get Mupia Fields. That's what they're called, not Mtepe. All right, boom. I'll be right back, Bruno. I just gotta, I gotta use the bathroom. This one should be more like a minute or two. All right, here we go. Let's do some Bantu stuff. We got through and we got 1,000,000 pops, and I feel like that's good enough for me. So let's see, where are you? Stack 1. So you can go here. I don't think it matters if we can just claim territory. We could potentially wait to see if we can get more territory with influence rather than with pops, but we're here to see what we can do. So we're gonna do that. We're not gonna build a granary and then not use it. that is for other streams, not this one. Main plaza, we are going to have enough to found 2 cities. So let's do that. You are a city. You are a city. And now both of these have 20 food coming in from Mupia Fields. We're gonna do expert you. I guess this Bagindi Pioneer could potentially run up there to grab that, and then you could come back to pillage this. Yeah, let's do that. One thing I don't like about this, of course, is that by doing this, we are going to, like, effectively deny ourselves the ability to chop. And although it's weird to how you assess chopping in fast versus, like, normal. I think, broadly speaking, chopping should be good in any 4X, and so I am happy to be playing it where it is good. I wish it were less insane, but, like, I'll take the good with the bad. It is very powerful on fast. That is definitely true. Yeah, I guess we could do this. Or maybe we should do this fight first, actually, to clear it. But then we could pull you back here. Trying to figure out where our other guy is going to come with to fight. Yeah. All right, so Burgundy Pioneers, we can get extra with influence. That way you can just start pushing them out onto the board instead of building outposts with influence, I assume. Hey Maya, how's it going? We're doing it. We're 6 months late, but we're doing a bunch of Humankind streaming now. So you've made the decision to show up on homework day. This is not really a full how to play Humankind so much as it is how to reassess an object that I definitely was not correctly assessing. And so we're going to do our best to learn from this experience and see if we can apply that to VIP. But we're going to be primarily playing on VIP. If that is an accessibility issue where Walker is playing on a mod, I have to apologize. But if you don't know why, then I would watch the VIP streams from the last week. It is so much better. It eats my soul. It's so much better that it has ruined my ability to make other content in ways where you have to assume that Bruno is a witch, because he has possessed me. I have the spirit of a Gola in me now, and I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know what to do with that information either, Walker. But this game is awesome. It needs a lot of work. A colossal amount of that work is already done on the VIP VIP mod. So just use VIP. Die, Burgundy Pioneer. I don't care. You can fight for glory and value. All right, so we got a jillion. Oh, right, and we can burn down that bad boy. Get another 20 food. Awesome. So we'll be able to put a crap ton of pops into Makumba pretty quickly. But what we're doing here is we're trying to use Bantu for maybe what they are supposed to be doing. Maybe after the fall mod, the after the end mod, you mean? Yeah, the after the end mod is we may end up coming back to doing like another after the end stream or something like that. I have been playing it on occasion. It is still like one of my favorite mods, but the VIP mod is pretty different from the after the end mod because what it does. The VIP mod, rather than it being a total conversion, it makes it so that the rules effectively are rebalanced in a way that reflects the behaviors of the AI, and reflects the basic rules of the game. Holy crap! Why do these have four pops in them already, Bruno? Oh, it's because the dudes landed there. They don't just disappear; they get pumped into the thing. Tell me I'm wrong, Bruno. I don't think it is. I think that's exactly how it works here. Jesus Christ, these are crazy. Okay. Yeah, it seems like yes, I think the Bantu do look like they are very powerful. It does also look like the Bantu are dependent on like reasonably good map generation, but I can see how this is ridiculous when it gives you a setup that uses it well. Holy crap, you don't lose the dudes, they just get converted to pops. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean I still think that means that like I think it's correct to not make them the literal top tier if they have issues where oh god damn it, Walker, why don't you burn this down? You just like stand on this tile and vibe. Is that what you did? It seems, I'm pretty sure that's what you did. I'm pretty sure you just stood on that tile and vibed. But yeah, I gotta play some more. We're gonna be playing vanilla on Monday, and we'll be bouncing back probably between vanilla and VIP. Pioneers do not eat food, even the ones that you make after the fact. these guys don't eat food after summoning them out. Like now, Maya, I don't know how much you've played in terms of Humankind, but after the Dante patch, they made it so that like basically most military units demand enormous amounts of food in order to like sustain themselves, and so you end up with issues sometimes where like you just can't do anything economically because all your pops are like stuck feeding everybody. All right, well, Jesus Christ, we're gonna be able to make like 4,000 outposts in the course of 2 turns here. Jeez. All right, yeah, I don't know. This is weird. This is really weird. Like I don't like the. Now I'm confused because now this is just like insanely strange. Great for specific setups. And I don't know if I like that. I feel like things should be situationally useful, not situationally broken. And this feels like this is closer to situationally broken. All right, well, whatever. We'll do stuff with these pops before we can't do stuff with these pops, but we're gonna be able to like get every tile on this board in alarmingly short order. Probably should have spent some influence to put another one of you onto the board than you. That would have made more sense so we could get a 4 out here. So let's split this stack up. Let's see if we can find some food. This tile is not currently claimed, so there's a non-zero chance we'll be able to do it. Yeah, it does seem like when they are good, Bantu are honestly probably too good, but it does also seem like, I mean, like I'm sure someone will look back at the first attempt that we did. I really do not see how that map gen was supposed to support Bantu at all, and I don't think that's inherently bad. I think that it's good for some things to just like whatever. We're not playing the game. We're figuring out what Bantu do. Go away, AI. Go reflect on the fact that you're participating in my homework and come back to me as to whether or not you think that's an interesting kind of content to watch. If people do not want to watch me doing homework, then we don't have to stream that. But I figured that it would be fun to test, and if nothing else, it would give me like ways to go back and look at things myself, and that's also useful. Get calendar. I don't know when I'm supposed to be taking city defense, honestly, because that was another thing that I like did catastrophically wrong on the VIP thing, is that I just raw built all of my swordsmen. I could have upgraded like 4 pretty easily. We had 1 billion gold when we flipped into the other thing. You have 1 billion gold when you flip into classical and you have access to swordsmen. Like, you'd rather spend it on upgrading warriors than on by rushing swords. It's way cheaper that way. So I need to play better if I'm going to try to fight people early. That's really the lesson of that stream. I need to play better if I'm going to fight people early. But fortunately, the first stream was not play better. The first stream was survive the brutal apocalypse of the South without air conditioning when you're a hairy man. And I did it. I survived. I did have to change my shirt afterwards, but I did survive. All right, let's get this tile, I guess, because it looks like we can. Yeah, we're gonna get like 400 tiles here. All of these cities, Makumba is gonna have like 400 growth. Well, you can even grow. Yeah, we just don't need farmers here. We're gonna have so much food from doing other things. Okay, so we can do. I guess we can do another horse ranch here and then just get vision, and then maybe a maker's quarter here. If the maker's quarter 26, so let's do expert. Let's drop you. Let's float you. That looks good. Yeah, I don't see any reason to be running farmers if we're gonna be getting 1 million food from doing other stuff. But maybe we can use these pops to disband into here or to chop here. I don't hate that either. All right, where would we be going? We'd be going there if we add in that. And then we can buy out the pottery workshop. Bruno, how much of the like buyout on money math did you readjust, if anything? Because I don't know, like, if that is this. You need like VIP is they need to steal your whipping numbers like 3 years ago. That is a huge upgrade for the game. But like I don't really understand other than because they removed the dust inflation, right? Like nothing is different between vanilla and VIP now. Because I remember they did have dust inflation, but it sounds like they fixed that. Yeah, okay, cool. So they did fix that buyout. That's good. It makes money meaningfully better. I guess yeah, we'll just vomit tiles onto the board. That's really what we're doing. We're just gonna be exploding the map with Burgundy Pioneers. Alright. Well, sure. I guess. Hattusa, what are you gonna do when you have 2 tiles left and all of the rest of this is us? Like, if we had enough wherewithal, we probably wouldn't have set up Mukendi here. We probably would have gone there. But like, apparently the final step to this process is that you have to try to have your outpost adjacent. Oh right, yeah, because then we get extra influence per turn. Yeah, we can fix that. I want this one though, because this one is a fancy boy with a bungle range, but this is a fancy boy that's also next to the Hittites. Next, let's just like try to crowd out the Hittites. That sounds like a really good idea. That'll be fun. Scientists. No! You! God damn it, Hittites. Fine, whatever. We'll just take this tile instead, but I'm gonna send you the angriest letter in the mail that you've ever received. How dare you? Yeah, I guess we'll just drop it here, and then it doesn't matter. We're just gonna wherever we drop it in this tile, we're gonna end up moving it anyway. So you go here, and then here, and then here. You can get Soylent Green with Bantu. You go here, and I guess we can keep going here. All right, so let's see. Let's go up this way. We will be able to, we won't be able to get that pickup with these guys next turn anyway, because these guys will have taken it already. So we just need to line up wherever we can drop this down, and then we can move. So somewhere over here. Or maybe we just like literally drop it on this spot. That looks okay. And I don't think I see anything else that looks important for us to get, so we'll just go. Winning fights against other people. Okay, yeah, that's the same way that it works with in the Neolithic. Like I don't know how much of that deep cut information you've interacted with either, Bruno, but I did discover that you could acquire food fighting scouts in the Neolithic era a while ago. We'll just pretend like it's not cannibalism. It is just people being forced into impressment to work with somebody else. This is disgusting. We're gonna have a million pops to work with once we hit the classical. We're gonna have really an unhinged number of pops, honestly. All right, Bruno, talk to me about Autark versus Small Council, because I like Autark, but I'm not a particularly complicated man. I like the big numbers. It makes my brain turn off, and that's pretty good. Influence on main plaza. We could do that. Wait, will natural right trigger on the outposts? I mean, that's the one downside, I guess, for Bantu, is that they also do not get this object. Yeah, so our agrarian stars, we're at 24 out of 36 at the moment. So we should be able to hit that 300 point probably pretty quickly. And then if we can just like keep overflowing pops, we should be able to get to the point where we can overflow stars into the next era. And that's ridiculous. If you can overflow stars into the next era, it is absurd. Wait, I forgot what I asked, Bruno. I know you're responding to a question that I asked, but that was 45 seconds ago. They do get the emblematic district bonus. Okay, but they lose it, I assume, whenever I flip out of the emblematic of the Bantu and into another thing, or do they maintain the same type of outpost? They don't get the Liberty access, but they do get the natural right. Oh, and on vanilla they also do get the Liberty access bonus. Okay, good. The Liberty access bonus, I think, is just like net very powerful and good, and I like that. I don't know, man. I don't really care either way about that little dinglebop. 5% extra science is okay, I guess. All right, well, I mean, that seems like a good balancing thing then to like help bring the Bantu back down. Like, they'll do ridiculous nonsense in the early game, and because of the snowballing, mechanics in Humankind, I imagine that still means that kind of no matter what you do, if you're doing ridiculous nonsense early, then you probably can do also looser ridiculous nonsense late. That's usually true. If you play better early, you can usually play really loose late, and that's where multiplayer is going to be necessary for me to break bad habits when it comes to like assessing Humankind. Yeah, let's chop this too. That sends 40 production into Makumba. I think that's good. I think that's good enough. Yeah, we'll buy out a Maker's Quarter. We'll get, I guess, another Maker's Quarter, or should we get you? I guess I want another thing attached so that I can build another Maker's Quarter usefully. We're gonna have 1 million food, but that seems like the main thing we're gonna have is 1 million food. Not that that's bad. It's just the way it is. Yeah, this is a trash. This is a garbage little Maker's Quarter for garbage people. That's gonna be a stream sometime. We're gonna do garbage harbors for garbage people as a stream name. I think that just sounds really funny. Yeah, we'll just build a bad Maker's Quarter. All right, that's fine. We have 10 stability to spend. That's more than enough. Vanilla Autarch versus Council does sort of the same thing the VIP Colonization Civic does, so we decided to keep the latter and nerf the former since it comes later into the game. Yeah, I think that could make sense too, Bruno. I not to ding the design of Autarch in VIP. I want to try Autarch in VIP because minus 10% on like the shared things. I assume that applies to wonders, right? Because that would be really powerful if it did, and usually the buttons do good stuff in VIP. Why have you gotten in the way, Hittites? I could have had 800 tiles near you, and instead I'm only have like 4. Yeah, let's just go here and then grab this tile. And then I guess we could even move. We can grab the tile, move, and then immediately spawn a couple of Vigendi Pioneer closer. Yeah, this is pretty silly. This is pretty silly. Can we get to this tile over here? I can get to that tile over there. And to there. Can we link up? No, we cannot link up. We're like 1 turn away from being able to link up. Okay, so it applies to wonders, holy sites, embassy, and to space race stuff, and anything that shows up in the shared project pool, like nuclear tests and satellites. All right, cool. Oh, give me a pop. Wild berries. No, give me a pop. Don't give me part of a pop. Give me a full pop. I'll do anything. One more turn. One more turn. We're gonna get 4 million pioneers here. I guess we can't really whip in vanilla particularly efficiently, so this pop I could just disband into Makumba to work as a builder. That seems alright. Not exciting, but given that food upkeep costs are effectively a non-factor in our economy, I'm okay with that. I don't really care that much about any of these objects either, but maybe we want stability in case we want to build another Maker's Quarter. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, exactly. Our influence per turn is already 50 influence per turn. That's why, like, I don't know. We'll see, but I suspect pretty strongly that my feelings in regards to the current balance on estates is probably not going to change. Like, I bet that that Krohadila is right, that like the other estates are still very powerful, but it does seem like they should be maybe even stronger in the early game, and everybody should also just get even more extra infinity influence. But like the way it works right now, I don't think communicate well, because some of these buttons just don't do anything. And some of them do things that cause people to trick themselves into play patterns that hurt them, and that's even worse. Like if the play pattern for Esthete is encouraging players to stack like 6 different Esthete cultures together in ways that are ultimately harmful to their ability to win, then that's rough. Maya, not yet, but we are going to be trying to get some of that off of the ground in the near future. So there's a couple of like really good multiplayer kids who've introduced themselves to me. Did we get the points here? Yeah, eat it, AI. But there are a couple of really good multiplayer kids who have like volunteered their time and knowledge to me in support of attempting to get Humankind to where I think we all hope it can be. And so we're going to be doing some multiplayer in the near to immediate future on the channel. We're also going to be like using them to help make content that is not exclusive to multiplayer but should be useful regardless, where we're going to be trying to like show what the different exploits are that we are not going to use, because that is not the kind of content that I make, but like hopefully something that will help people understand like what to fix. Hopefully, fingers crossed. What Bruno? What did you got? What you got for me? Let's see. I guess we're just gonna get a bunch of them. Why don't I steal them with the expansionist button? Maybe I will. Maybe that's exactly what I'll do. Maybe what we'll do is we'll grab this, immediately pump all of them back out of the board, and then go run over there and grab it. That could be fun. That could be fun. Maybe we'll do exactly that. Maybe we'll end up where this continent is like 400 outposts by turn 16 or something. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Even attached territories, you just walk in here and grab it. I mean, we can do that. We should have enough. I don't get food from harbors on unattached places, do I? I don't remember. Let's find out. So we're at 9 right now. I don't think we do. No, we don't. You get the harbor food when you attach, as far as I can tell, which maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't know. But yeah, let's grab a couple. Actually, we have 4 pops here. Like, we can just dump 4 onto the board next turn and then just charge them over here the turn after. Yeah, let's do that. Get wrecked, Hittites. let's just kill you with Begendi Pioneers, Hittites. Maybe we'll do that right now. I don't know. Religious rites, I don't care about that at the moment. We don't have an emblematic religious thing. I could buy this Maker's Quarter. I wouldn't even necessarily hate doing that. If we do, how much does this go to? It goes to 8? Yeah, let's do that for sure. Yeah, all right. I see the play pattern here. It is turn 14. Good lord. All right, so is this the better tile or is this the better tile? I don't think it really matters. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. Let's grab this as the tile. It's a 27-point tile. Jesus. All right, you 1, 2, 3, 4. And I guess we don't have enough influence to do that at the same time, but we can do this. And then next turn, we'll get 62, which plus the 11 that we currently have banked will give us enough to float 4 out of here as well. So we're just going to have 400,000 units to just hurl at Hittites here. Maybe we'll kill them before turn 20. I don't know. It sure feels like we might if we just run everybody over there. Yeah, let's go down here and chop a little more. Like, I like chopping. I really do like chopping. I hope people are okay with that, because I think it is a good thing in terms of describing the Ludo narrative of early humans. I can't imagine wanting to make a historical game where chopping stuff down isn't good for you. Alright, Makumba is grown enough that I guess we could maybe even attach one of these, like, derpy outposts here. But we should probably wait to flip before we attach a derpy outpost. This is going to be ridiculous, though. I just realized, because we can just go straight into codified laws. We don't need to go into customary laws at all here, because, like, spend the influence on what? There are going to be no tiles left for us to grab by the time we're done with Begendi Pioneers. So that's I guess that's good, I guess. Alright, so let's go here. And that's their tiles, so we can go there and then click Expansionist on this guy. 5 turns. 5 turns is long enough that I feel like if black cannot stop us from taking that is a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you guys can just 4 turns to go down there. I don't know, man. It's a lot of walking. I think I'd rather just get this. Oh, Walker, 4 turns to go down there. You could have clicked off of this guy. That would have been faster, but we also only have 2 pops here because everybody else got levied. Alright, whatever. That's good enough, I guess. Let's see. Oh, shoot. There's more food over there. Alright, well, hopefully it doesn't disappear. Do you know how, like, mammoths disappear, Bruno, in Humankind? Because it definitely feels like mammoths disappear in Humankind, but I could not tell you, like, the precise mechanism. It seems like maybe... It is a lot of walking, says Walker. When I did the me in real life stream for Age of Wonders 4, like, Gracian asked me why is Swift Marchers on this. It's just lore accurate. It's just lore accurate. I walk everywhere. I wear flip flops all the time. It's lore accurate Walker portrayal. Man. All right. I guess we could potentially build a low value embassy here, but we're going to want to figure out how we're supposed to keep our people alive once we start attaching everything. Maybe that will involve us flipping into in 2 turns. All right, so we could get in 1 turn if we do this. Yeah, let's do that. Good lord. Yeah, it seems like if you are not prepared to deal with this in multiplayer and someone gets a spawn that is favorable, that you probably are just dead. So I can see how multiplayer people would assess this as high. If the map supports the ability to do this, I cannot imagine attempting to fight back. So if you remember correctly, it's related to global tech count. There's a threshold of research technologies by players that makes the sanctuaries go away. Oh, that would be really clever. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. That's like something that I'm sort of hoping to highlight in Apocalypse of the Trees, is that I think that the game, I want a button that I can press. I don't know what button it should be. Maybe it's 1. Maybe I just need to mash 1 and then press escape, but I want a button that will make all of the pop-ups that are on my screen go away whenever I'm, like, focused on a thing, so that way I don't say out loud in a stream, go in on professional soldiers this turn, don't forget, and then immediately forget. Yeah, I figured they probably would be. Like, I've learned my lesson by now. Food is ridiculously good at military stuff in Humankind, especially early game military stuff, even before the Dante patch. And now, after the Dante patch, I I suspect that there's like a grotesque balance problem there with food being insanely good for some cultures. Speaking of insanely good, we got abstain on turn 16. Oh my god. Remind me later, I guess. So we still have 4 turns left if we want to actually grab this, Bruno. I don't know if I want to just like vibe for 4 turns on Bantu. We have 37 pops though. So like maybe what we should do is try to get one more chunk of pops before we leave. Because I assume that here, if I'm using the expansionist ability, right, and I leave, then it disappears, doesn't it? I don't know what you're talking about. My holy site thing? What are you talking about? Is there a button I can press to change a thing? This now we get to learn that Walker does not interact with objects that create aesthetic things for any reason whatsoever, and is entirely blind to the mechanisms in front of him except for the code. Apparently there's a way to change this, what this looks like. Is there a slider? Maybe Bruno's just trolling us. That's the real lesson here. That Bruno is just trolling people. Oh, when you're picking a tenant? Okay, whatever. That's fine. Wait a second. Oh, I just explored the entire continent on turn 16. Good. Good, yeah. Alright, Bantu. You do Bantu things, I guess. I still would probably be forced to give this, like, I don't know if I could give this an S+ ranking, because I want to, we're gonna finish this part of the stream, like, I guess, right, it's pretty much immediately, because I feel like this demonstrated, to me at least, a good idea of what Bantu could do, but I want to see, like, how frequently with the different map settings that I'm used to playing on, that, they are not supported by what is going on in the map. But you can see here, I'm assuming because I hopefully put, yes, I did put display capture to the bottom, so you are not forced to look at my chat box, but I moved my chat box around so that way it isn't overlapping with civics, so that way I can hopefully remember to spend influence a little better. But like, we're already at 2100 fame on turn 16 just by clicking stuff. So, pretty good. Oh, should I just ransack this instead? Like, what takes longer here, Bruno? Because this is the problem. Like, using an expansionist thing for 5 turns to take control of this with what we just did in terms of Bantu means that I don't see any situation where we could potentially actually, like, use it. The AI did flip to era 2. That is good. Anytime the AI is flipping around in terms of cultures, I'm thrilled for it. I think that is something that I want to see out of any AI behaving in humankind. And if you get there via doing stuff like this, then that's okay. Outright steal stuff. Alright, wait a second. Can we can still attach here for 250. So an expansionist is, oh, a non-attached, it's 3 turns. That seems a lot more reasonable. I should just aim for that then, because that sounds like something that you can actually accomplish in a reasonable time frame. And then I could have, if I'd done that, then I probably could have taken this instead, and then I could have rerouted these 4 down south to grab that. So we probably could have had an extra outpost here if we wanted it. Is it only the unattached outposts that get the influence bonus for being next to people? I guess, you know what, we can find out. Let's find out. Let's click this and see if the influence disappears. I don't think it did. Alright, expansionist does not care about how big your army is. I would, yeah, you could steal it with lone units, but because I'm not gonna manual the AI, they do chase me off whenever it's just a lone unit abandoned there, because I'm not going to be able to just, like, randomly destroy the AI with an inferior army. As a consequence of the kind of game that I play, that is not an option, unfortunately. 8. So I guess we could just attach this. Would that get us another star? That would get us another star and another 350 points. That's worth 8 influence. So, yeah, it's turn 16, and we have 2,700 fame. That's pretty good. And then, I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to really be flipping into, but it sounds like maybe we need to get some food to, like, keep the people alive once we leave. I don't know if that means that all of a sudden, like, if you're playing on Bantu, that you have to play Celts or you have to play Garmantes. I don't know. But it seems like if you want to keep these 10,000 pops alive, it is correct to attempt to keep the 10,000 pops alive. And because this is a religious quarter, you can build it pretty quickly. So let's see. Do our pops immediately start starving to death if we flip into Celts? Sort of, but only sort of. We really only need a handful of farmers to fix this. Yeah, all right. Oh yeah, crap. We could have done that. You're right, Bruno. We could have had 3,000 points on turn 17 instead of 2,700. Yeah, 2,700. But no, you're absolutely right. We could have done that. That would have been even more fame stacking. So that is very powerful. I do like that particular run outcome. I'll be right back. But I might as well like load the game, I suppose. But I'm gonna take another quick bio break. But we're just gonna probably just do Bantu streams for like at least another hour or two, just to see what the map generation offers us. We're not gonna be doing this for 6 hours, but if we do it for 3 hours and see 5 different playthroughs, don't be surprised. I think that's like good data collection in terms of understanding extremely small end problems. Also drive me crazy, right? Like, if you think you understand how people with 1,000 hours in a 4X are going to behave because you've interacted with 8 of them because there are only 150 of them, you'll make wildly incorrect guesses in terms of their behaviors, because we're not all the same. Some of us want ridiculous nonsense instead of other forms of ridiculous nonsense. It's just the kind of ridiculous nonsense I want is the kind that will make your business succeed. So I want to make content that will force finance people to finally start doing that instead of ruining the genre that I love. Yeah, I'll be back in maybe 5. All right, so for those of you who have not played Humankind a lot, we're going to be trying to essentially assess. This is basically a homework stream. So it's not the most interesting content for everybody, I suppose, considering that it's going to be mostly like us just starting over and over and over again and seeing what sort of spawns support Bantu. But our last stream, like the last run we did, we had 2,700 fame on turn 16 or something like that, and like had nuked the entire continent more or less with all of our outposts, and that wasn't even with like good micro, it was just with a good spawn. But it does seem like so far Bantu are spawn dependent, where like they have to have a certain situation in terms of tiles. So what we're going to be talking about whenever we get to the actual Bantu, we're playing with exclusive off just so that way we can always use them. But basically it seems like what you're supposed to be doing is what Krohadila told me to do, which is basically you use a bunch of pops to just like grab the territories between 2 cities that you set up right away. And if you do that, and you have the resources, you can immediately just start devouring the map and going insanely wide. It also like pseudo drives you tall too, because you get a ridiculous amount of food in your outposts, or rather in both your outposts and in your cities. And you can also use a bunch of influence to just like keep pushing Burgundy Pioneer onto the board. But it does seem like it really, really, really does depend on getting a lot of food in the Neolithic era. And because of the problems in terms of food pickup that I have highlighted in some of my other videos, it does seem like you can't rely on them being crazy overpowered, which puts them in like a really strange place for me, because I typically do not like to recommend ever that something be nerfed, but I think like sometimes you have to nerf things, because that's just like where the game is in terms of its balance. But like more often than not, especially in regards to the single player, the balance problems almost always are in the other direction, where like there's just a bunch of stuff that's not good enough because it was tested and designed in situations that are entirely risk-free. We could do that, Bruno. Yeah, but you're right. Maybe we should do that just to see what it feels like. We'll see how we will be forced to attempt them here, and it looks like at least this map does seem to be set up for it. Like we could do this with 1, 2, 3, and this with 1, 2 at the least in terms of overlap. So like there's a lot of potential space here where tiles could overlap and things, and we could see how we do with like 8 or 9 pops instead of 12 or whatever. And just for science, right? Good science requires doing things that are questionable. Oh, god damn it. Speaking of questionable, well, I guess that'll make this easy. If we're going to be low on pops, then this secures this outpost for us. That was not where I was supposed to be building. I was supposed to be building here and here. But I guess we'll see how big this map is before we say that was grotesquely inappropriate to do. At least this thing catches food for us along the way. Yeah, that was intentional. It's going to get us more food so that way we can get more scouts so we can get more pioneers. Believe it. All right, let's go here and we'll pick up this guy. If we're doing Begendi, we're going to go with astronomy rather than, or if we're doing Bantu, we're going to go astronomy rather than the other guy. And I guess we'll see instant. Yep, got that one. So that as previously discussed, I'm like almost certain that there really is some sort of random roll element. I mean, to be fair, this does look like a really garbage city anyway, so maybe I shouldn't have been excited to potentially use that. Maybe this is a better city, and then that's a better city. That does look like it. This really is a trash tile. That was another just like neat little thing to look at from the I Just Want to Play Humankind stream. Kawuka was a nonsense city. I do not know what inspired me to build it other than laziness or greed. But that was a bad city, and I should not have wasted like influence there. Yeah, this looks much better actually. Let's go here and here. That looks, and then we use this as the like overlap with food tiles. Way better, way better. And now we just have this one to do something with. This one to reflect upon. Okay, so we can do, you go here. You go here. I guess we'll get influence, so that way we can grab another outpost out here somewhere. Yeah, this is going to be a relatively low food outpost, but honestly that's fine if we're getting 150,000 food off of pioneers. Oh no, I don't actually know if this is going to be a colossal disaster for us or not, because they're above us and they're in a river and we're playing as we're doing instance, so I have no idea how this is going to interact. Because it doesn't matter. You get greedy. That's the other like most important lesson if you play a bunch of Age of Wonders 4. If you play too much Age of Wonders 4, you learn. Just get greedy. Like you'll only learn how greedy you can be if you attempt to be greedy and then are punished for it, so that way you learn where the downside is. But like you're typically way better off trying to be as greedy as humanly possible and then dialing it down from there rather than the other way around. Yeah, we are already at 8 pops, so and this setup does look really good for them. Hey, are we getting chased off by a bear? No. Wait, yes? Well, we can't instant that, because it would die. Yeah, it does look like there's a bear. Ooh, a retreating army does not pick up food. That's good to know. Retreating information, I feel like, needs to be better in the game, Bruno. I don't know how to do that with the current system that exists in Humankind, but it is hostile, to say the least, in terms of like, the information presentation. Why did you move those guys over there if you were just going to use these guys to make the outpost? To see if you were paying attention, Walker, and you failed the check. You failed the investigation check for are you paying attention? There we go. So we can still fight this mammoth and then get our survivors chased off by that bear. But then we can bring these guys back to go fight the bear afterwards. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, we did get that. And I guess we can try to pick up this guy. Yeah, we can try to pick up this guy. So we will have all of the stars. We'll have probably like 12-ish pops or something like that anyway. I guess we're going to take stone weapons again because we really did not need the influence when Burgundy Pioneers were doing their thing. Run away. Alright, so we got the super wounded one out, so that way we wouldn't be like collecting food we could not use. But the padding on the timer in simultaneous turns needs to be a little less insane. Like, I know that Amplitude has gotten criticism for simultaneous turns before in ways that I think don't understand how useful simultaneous turns are, but some of the logic in regards to how it is scored is a little crazy, just a little crazy. So we should be able to go here and then here, and then these guys can fight here. And now that we have stone weapons, unlike the last two flat fights where we actually were winning, we lose one here. Interesting. I mean, maybe you're right, Bruno. I don't know. Maybe we should have taken that and had like 150,000 influence at the beginning of the game. That could have also been correct. Maybe we'll have to do that on the next run, because it looks like this run is probably going to be successful at both getting and then getting the crap out of the value out of Burgundy Pioneers. That's what it looks like. It looks like this is going to be another broken run. Which is good. If the small N that we are collecting here suggests that, yeah, it does sometimes fail to work, but usually don't worry about it. Usually Bantu are insane. Then that's also useful information to have. Cannot be done by a retreating army, so we're not going to be able to pillage that. But we can go, you come back here, you go get some money for the flips, so that way we don't have to worry about that. And I guess some pioneers down there aren't like the end of the world, and we'll just have this guy stand here so that way the mammoth can't run away. I like doing that. I don't know if people like are familiar with the movement rules in this game, but I think they're great. I think the movement rules are great. I think the way that everything works here is really good, except for some serious problems that can be fixed by playing on VIP. I think that this is honestly a great game. VIP doesn't fix all of the problems, but it fixes enough of the problems that I feel excited to play it instead of terrified to play it. Alright, so here we are, we have the Bantu, and now we're going to attempt to do nonsense things with it again. But considering how successful our nonsense things were last time, I don't think it's going to be too complicated to do that again. So you do some nonsense. So we only have 2 tiles here that overlap, but we can get there with 3 in 3 turns. We also have a pioneer here to potentially do a fight. I don't know if one pioneer can solo a mammoth or not. Bruno says that there is a bonus, or rather a penalty for animals in auto resolves, which I guess would make sense to help facilitate this. Yep. All right, cool. And we got another 20 influence for our... We took a fight and got another 20 influence. I mean, we could have a bunch of influence coming in from population at this point. Bruno is correct, but now we are at the phase where I don't know if that would matter anymore. We might have broken free from the constraints and bounds of the prime material plane, and now can just like do insane Bantu things, because it does feel like we're about to do insane Bantu things. We'll go, I guess we have no way to get this in 2, right? No, we have no way to get this in 2, so we'll go here. And then you should be able to make a Bantu, who can then go here. That's 3, and then 1, 2. No, we have to go this way. Bruno, I forgot what I was talking about. You're always gonna have to like give me the thread back, because I said it 45 seconds ago, and the way that these streams have to function in order for me to attempt to focus on what I am doing in the game, I cannot focus on what I am saying out loud. It's just true. It's just true. I don't know what I am saying. I am employing the skills that I developed in a kitchen, where you have to be like accessible and like conversational, but you also have to focus on the thing that you're attempting to do. Otherwise, you're gonna cut your finger off. And so like a good worker in a kitchen isn't necessarily friendly, but leaves the line of communication with everybody else in the kitchen as open as humanly possible. And the way that you do that easily is by just talking a lot, and you learn how to talk a lot without paying attention to anything that you're saying in the kitchen context very, very quickly. That is a very good survival skill, but it means that really I am genuinely not listening to the things that I am saying 75% of the time. That's why I have to go back and watch so that I can figure out if what I am saying is like worth putting into a chapter or not. Animals have a penalty to auto-resolve. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. We don't know the exact effect of it. Yeah, yep. All right, cool. That does make sense. Really all of the feedback that I have in regards to the instant resolution, I feel I summed up in the instant resolution solution, because I think that if they're going to use instant resolves for labor purposes at Amplitude, I'm open to that. I'm actually fine with that. They just need to communicate better with the player, because the way that it works now is confusing and makes no sense, because it seems to exclusively assume that people are only going to like click on instant resolve and just like hold their breath all of the time. And if you just make a system that people can like learn from and interact with and try to interpret the feedback that it's giving you, I think people are going to have a lot more fun, because then they will be able to play the game at kind of whatever pace and feel and settings that they enjoy the most. Yeah, so this is going to be another tile that we're going to grab over there. Could also go down here and burn that sanctuary down. We're a little low on cash to buy out a pottery workshop, but that's okay. Does not bother me. Okay, so they're back for more. I don't know if I want to risk this high rank Bigendi in that fight. Having a high rank scout honestly is not as important as I thought it was like 6 months ago, because I realized more and more as I played more and more that scouts really are scouts. They say what they do on the box. If they die, that's okay. It would be good to have a high rank cavalry unit probably, for the purposes of like doing stuff later on into the game, but I'm not too broken up if we lose a couple of scouts along the way. That's what they're there for. They're there to die. They're there to die so that the Empire may live. Just like units in Age of Wonders 4. So that is their purpose. Your purpose is to serve butter and then die. So you go here. Can we still get here if we go that way? I don't think so. I think it's a one or the other, right? No, wait, 1, 2. No, we can do this. This is 4 movements, 4 movement points. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we should be able to get there and there. So yeah, we'll have 4 to grab that outpost. We'll need a little bit of influence to move it, but that's fine. And now we have enough influence that we can just grab calendar stuff. Where should you set up an outpost? Over here. Maybe here? That looks okay. There's some amount of widgets here, and it's pretty far away from all these woodlands that we may or may not want to chop down, depending on game speed. And it's adjacent to a guy, and that's usually pretty good, because that's what the thing says on the box for the Bantu. Set up stuff adjacent to people, and then profit. So we'll make at least 1 pioneer to go fight that mammoth. Then I guess we'll grab another artisan quarter. So we have 1 million porcelain now. A million billion porcelain now. Yeah, our cache is actually fixed, and that actually maybe I should have seen like what sort of things we had on the board before picking between bright ornaments and plant lore, but I don't know. They're speed dependent, so you think that they're a lot worse on like slower speeds. I'd believe that too. They do also just even though this is going incredibly well, they still really do feel like highly spawn dependent. But we'll see how often that's a problem on the settings that I normally play on, and then maybe we'll like adjust from there. Like maybe we'll play on different map settings to see what we can experience and learn about the different parts of humankind, rather than just like the map settings that I find most enjoyable. Stronger on faster speeds because they require less food. Oh yeah, for sure, because they actually require 40 on normal, don't they? So you don't even get a pop out of a mammoth fight, do you? That is a huge difference, honestly. Sure, whatever. Give me... Oh, nope, you're not giving me money. Well, get wrecked then, I suppose. Should we take... I guess we can take carpentry, although we're not really going to be chopping for the immediate future. So maybe we just try to take writing to secure the fame and then just come back for carpentry, because I want to chop things, but like we're very quickly going to have so many pops doing stuff out here that we'll be able to shuffle them back after the case. Yeah, after the fact, we'll do this. We'll grab another maker's quarter. And I guess we'll try to buy that out next turn. You could also use the expansionist, or attempt to use the expansionist rate this turn, or this run. Okay, so you go here, you go here. And now we go here. And now we go here. And I guess we could even drop a couple of more pioneers out. Where did that mammoth go, Walker? You lost it. There was a mammoth right here, and you just were not paying attention again. You lost it. That is really what it boils down to. Yeah. Just remind me next time we start. Like, we're gonna be doing this for a little while. We're probably gonna stop by like 6 or 7 today, because we're gonna do another stream on Monday, and I don't want to unintentionally burn myself out and like not do the content that needs to be done instead of the content that I want to do. I guess if we had like enough influence, then we could just move over here, make a couple of pioneers, and then move back. I don't know if we have enough influence to do that this turn. I don't really have enough veterancy that I care. You just don't have HP, and I don't want you to just stand around waiting for HP the entire time. So I think you're gonna just go back here and disband into Makumba. Get us some more of this good old science. We got a turn 11 writing at least. And I guess we'll see if this is a disaster because we're standing on the river. We did take a lot of damage, but looks like we got through it anyway. And then I suppose we're just doing things. We're just out here just doing things and burning stuff down and getting pops and burning more pops down and going nuts. The Bantu do a lot of stuff. Yeah, I know they heal in neutral territory. I just don't want to waste like 5 turns. Like a lot of these guys, this guy here I could potentially keep because it has a full veterancy level already. But like, unless I'm deliberately going to attack somebody with professional Burgundies with stone weapons, which maybe we'll do that also. I don't know. That does seem like a way to leverage them for sure. Maybe that's the real timing attack, is you just get some like 15 strength Burgundy pioneers and attack people on turn 19 instead of trying to like dirtle around and attack with swordsmen that you've ridiculously inefficiently build on turn 30 or whatever. That is definitely a lot scarier. If somebody shows up with organized warfare and a bunch of 15 strength units, and you're only fighting back with like 2 warriors and a couple of random dudes, you're probably dead. You are probably dead. I don't see an outpost that we should be moving guys off of, except maybe Kimba, but let's get one out of here so we can go scout over there and see if there's anything useful. And I guess we'll make another at Alcyon because we're on the border. Did we get the points? Writing and writing. We got the points. Bruno, do you have any way to add more competitive things to the game? Because that's all I want. That's what I want. I want so many competitive sources of fame that it makes people vomit. That's what I want. Like, there might be ways to add, like, events or whatever, but even if there aren't a lot of them, as long as there's, like, more things for us to do other than annihilate each other for fame, I'll be a pretty happy camper. That's really what it goes down to. They're going carpentry to masonry to organized, building a couple of archers, and then steamrolling everyone with swarm tactics. Yeah, I mean, that can definitely work. That's generally what I try to do in single player anyway. So I'm not surprised to hear people are doing that. I'd be curious to hear, like, how many archers they are building. As I imagine that if you do a crap ton of manual combats that you want to make a crap ton of archers. But they're still good in autos. They just are a little more complicated to understand the value of. Alright, get out here, Blue. Or, I guess, we can instant. Just, I'll kill your dude, I guess. If you want to lose a dude to me, then that's a good deal. Let's go here and burn down a sanctuary and get more pops and get more gold. We have so much money too. This could very easily support a swords rush from this point because we're gonna have infinity, like literal infinity food and pops. So making a bunch of units is not a big deal. And then we're also gonna have just like problems. We're also gonna have infinity money for upgrading. So yeah, I am convinced. I am convinced pretty cleanly that these are ridiculous when they are supportable. I just don't know how often they are supportable. And I think that's going to be something we're going to have to play around with just to see. But I agree. These are pretty nuts on fast. And there's really no two ways around that. Bruno, how have you rebalanced them in VIP? Assuming that you have, but I assume that you have. A horseman rush, yeah, they do upgrade to that, but like I feel like one of the other things is that like you don't have to wait for any of that, right? Like if I wanted to go attempt to attack Corral here with just a bunch of dudes and like a couple of archers, that might be enough. If we have a couple of archers and like organized warfare and a bunch of 15 strength Begendi Pioneer, it seems like you'd be pretty dangerous if you do that. This time you chose not to have two cities, but I did choose to have two cities. They're right there. Don't lie to chat, Bruno. You can lie to me, but don't lie to chat. Chat deserves better. Chat is being forced to endure me long enough, so the least that we can do is not lie to them. Let's see. I guess we'll just keep exploring. Yeah, I built two cities immediately. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm also blind. I am both blind and deaf, and this is just like the inherent ramblings of a madman as he clicks on objects that he is ignoring. .exe. A specific Bantu changes in VIP. All right, hit us up, Bruno. What you got? You know what we should also hit up? We should hit up a public fountain so that way we can maintain high enough stability here so that way we have better influence income. That does work that way here, right? Like if you have higher than 90, you get extra influence on dudes. Is that correct? Actually, Bruno, tell me, what are the bonuses on stability in Humankind? I know that going below 30 is bad. I'm just going to ask Bruno like 15 questions in a row, and then he'll have to queue all of them and then respond to them in kind. Use his kindness in kind. Yeah, all right, great. Let's take Autark. Not a complicated man. I guess we could take Emblematic District, because apparently this is working. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's see where we go from there. That's good, that's good, that's good. So Macumba, again, I don't know why I set this up as the capital rather than that one. I don't know, why do you keep making the worst city your capital, Walker? You do realize that your capital is supposed to be good, right? You do know that, don't you? Let's whatever. We'll spend some gold on building stuff here. That's good. We have the money. We're not gonna go try to rush the AI, so we can spend it on this. Stability does give you +2 influence per pop at 90. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I was observing. But I don't see that as an income anywhere here, right? If I mouse over this and it says +13 influence from district and it doesn't tell me, +1 influence per pop at 31 to 89, that's just a UI that's lying to people. And that's the biggest problem with Humankind, I think. I think number one problem is the tutorial. I'm assuming I cannot find an actual tutorial for this, but like the tutorial I must assume is nonsensical and lies to players, because that's just like always true when it comes to 4Xs for some reason. The tutorials in 4Xs need to be orders of magnitude better, because they are confusing people and hurting their ability to play and enjoy the games. And that's not good, because that's definitely hurting the long-term viability of this as a project for people to be working on. And I want this to be a project that people who want to work on it cannot help but be forced to work on it, because they have the ability to and the compulsion to. But like, if the tutorial is just lying to people and telling them to do nonsense things, then that's rude. That's mean. Don't lie to your players. Don't do that. Be better. All right. Oh, but not on just a purely negative sense. I think that there are ways to make a creative and interesting tutorial. I think you just provide the player with just enough narrative feedback to contextualize the mechanical things that are going on in front of them in a way where they're understanding the fundamentals of the game without being deprived of the ability to learn those fundamentals. I think that is a much better game to design. I think that game sounds like it would be really fun to work on. Mouse over my city center. I just saw that. Mouse over my city center. This part. This part? Mouse over my city center. I see. Okay, so there it is. +4 influence from population on the left. I mean, that's fine, but I think it should be something that you have to assume that also people aren't going to know the exact way to find the information that they are looking for. Well, I do see it here on this left section, main plaza. Maybe I'm delayed on stream, I don't know, but I see here on my left column, which I cannot pin, +4 influence from population, so that is communicating the information that I'm looking for. But I promise you that I promise you, I'll bet you all of the lint in my pocket against all of the lint in your brain from listening to me, that maybe 10% of people are going to know to do that, and everyone else is going to mouse over this and see +14 influence from district and not know that they're also getting influence from their population, because that's just this is the thing that's on the HUD, man. That's the number. So if you just mouse over this and it communicates better information to the player, they'll be empowered to make their own decisions in terms of organic gameplay and learning. Yeah, nested tooltips would be great. Honestly, we're going to die on this hill. I'm going to fight literally everybody on the internet. I think that this game is genuinely incredible. I think the communication in this game is genuinely horrifying. And I think that is good, because that means that the game can be better very easily. It just needs better tools to talk to the players. A good AI and a good tutorial are a big part of that, but also just the UI in this game is not finished. It looks really good, which is where I think some of the other problems also emerge, because the UI looks clean, because it's designed with like a goal of simplicity. Elegance through simplicity does seem to be the core here. Yeah, I hope Amplitude releases a game with nested tooltips in the foreseeable future too. I just hope they also release it with like pinnable tooltips, right? So I can go over here and press like shift, and then it will pin this open so that I can move over here and mouse down to the combat strength and look at it and stuff. I admire the goal of elegance and simplicity in UI and game design. I think that is a good thing for people to do, but if you go too far into the abstract in terms of making elegant simplicity things, then you end up with streams that are 6 hours long that say nothing except pay better attention to the choices that you're making both in video games and in real life. And like that's good too, I guess. I can't say that that is ontologically evil in terms of game design, but I want Amplitude to make games that do well, and I think if they are able to contextualize the advice that I am attempting to give them, that they will do that better than what they are doing right now, because this game should have 10,000 active players. This game is outrageously good. It's just not remotely done. And I suspect that it is not because Amplitude was not working on it. It is because Amplitude was spending resources working on it in ways that I don't think were a productive use of their time in regards to what they could have been doing. I guess we'll take fishing. Sure, yeah, I guess we'll take fishing. We're gonna have ridiculous amounts of money here. I guess we'll buy more maker's quarters. I don't know if I want to buy a 5 maker quarter. That seems pretty bad. We do have infinity food, so we don't need that. But I guess we could always use more researchers, right? And then we could get some guys out to chop things down. But that's where we're supposed to be chopping them down. So maybe we immediately raise some of these Bugendies that we just used. Yeah, send those 2 down there to chop. That seems okay. And then they can rotate north, or this guy can just come back and chop. That seems alright. Yeah, that seems better. Actually, god damn it. This is a better thing to spawn out of, because there you go here to chop and here to chop, instead of what I'm assuming is going to be 2 turns. 3 turns to get down there? Oh, no. It's just that they don't have any movement points. So, yeah, 2 turns to get down there. Let's see, what else are we doing? I guess really now we're just like exploring the upper bounds of what Bantu can do if Bantu is doing Bantu stuff. And it looks like, again, we were going to get like a ludicrous amount of victory points during the ancient era when things are going well. So I don't know, like if it is entirely speed dependent, then that also seems like a problem. Like the speed problem on chopping is another one of those problems that is definitely an accessibility and communication problem, not only in the game but also in the community, because it means that like some people are correct to say do not chop, but some people are not because of the game speeds that they play on. And that is something that will cause your community to not only not give good feedback to you, but to devour itself on Discord. And that seems like that's the worst kind of balanced decision. If you make a balanced decision that causes your community to be forced to silo and then eat itself, like Saturno devorando a sus hijos, like I guess that's a vibe, but it's not a vibe that I think people should be aspiring to in terms of 4X game design. I think you should probably communicate with your sane players first. Okay, so let's chop this down, and you can split to go there and to go there. I assume that queues correctly. Maybe it doesn't. Bruno, do you know, can you split stacks in queue? Like if I have these guys, can I do... It doesn't look like it held the... Like it held the queue because I was only using one of them at a time, which I guess that's fine. Like some of the things that I will complain about in terms of UI, I will have to phrase in terms of I guess that's fine, because I'm probably like 10 or 15% of players who are attempting to do that. But like just most of the time your UI should just let the players do stuff and not punish them for attempting to do so. All right, so we got another 4. So yeah, we're gonna get all of these tiles. We're gonna get literal all of this map. It's gonna be pretty rough. So Bruno, what I want to do is I have a stack here with 2 of these guys, and I want to send next turn one of them northeast, and then the other one directly east. So that way we can trap here and here. But it doesn't seem like it's holding on to my movement point order queue. You can do that with an individual guy. Like I could just queue out this move and then it would do that later. That again, that could be a Walker special in terms of this is an action that I want to take that no one else really cares about because it's just the only thing that he's doing right now. But I don't think that's true. I assume people are probably trying to queue because one of the complaints that I get is that I do not queue enough. That is something that Bruno and other humans watching my stream have noted. It is true. It is true. Walker does need to queue more objects, but the way that overflow works in Humankind is net amazing and very good, and I think a very healthy element of the game's design. So I'm not super worried about little things like that, because I can just overflow in many horrifying ways. Any 4X game that you make ever needs to have good overflow rules. It needs to have overflow rules that do not harm the player for doing stuff. All right, so yeah, let's go up there, spawn a couple of them, and then I guess we could just move back down. I don't really need food. Well, maybe I do need food. Yeah, maybe I do need food. Let's stick by the river so that way the infrastructure that we build here might potentially be useful. And then these guys can support both founding an outpost out here. I guess we'll send one of you out there and one of you over here. So where can you get? You can get to that tile. So that's where we should get all our buddies. Oh, why am I doing this? I have enough. Oh, because this is a high rank Begendi Pioneer that I don't want to burn off. I guess that's why I'm doing this. But we're gonna have 4 pops here anyway. So that is mostly just that is a ritualistic behavior that I am observing. I want to keep that Begendi Pioneer alive, even if the 1 combat strength doesn't really do anything. It is a choice that I must make for compulsive reasons, not for mechanical ones. If I'm playing the game more seriously, I will attempt not to do those. I guess we could buy that out. It won't change the influence income, though. There's an 8 harbor. That's probably worth building. And then I guess we'll try to do a harbor there next turn. Maybe we even use that to stick on a Makumba. But yeah, we're going to have a billion pops again. Not that the billion pops is literal broken in vanilla, but we are going to have it. And having a billion pops is better than not having a billion pops. That is true. So let's trade locations. You go here. Guess we could, no, you can't move. You can move. You can move here. You can come back. And we'll grab another outpost. We'll grab you and you. And I guess a harbor for 13 food. All right. I'm not gonna say no. If you're gonna give me that, I'm not gonna say no. Another tech we could grab here. Get another 200. And then we'll definitely want to attach a bunch of expansion start stuff until or before we flip. So we just get as much fame as humanly possible before we flip out. So you go here for chopping. I guess we'll want to explore in this direction. Bruno, I assume that like when we flip out that the pioneers will move to founding via influence, right? Or will they stay as is where they can still found with population? Let's see. Let's grab that tile. Yep. Yep, there we go. We have control over the map. Pretty good. Oh, turn 15. All right. Well, welcome, Abstain. Turn 15. Good. Good. Yes. Sure. They stop spawning unless you pick the Huns. Okay. All right. That makes sense. That gives you a way to like kind of keep rolling the power pattern forward if you want to. Ooh. So we're not really using the expansionist star ability like at all, but other than here, I don't really see anywhere that we could, and that would require we build a bunch of pioneers here and just rush them down. Oh. Yeah, Bruno, you're never gonna be able to get me to do that. I'm gonna forget every single time because just the aesthetic elements of the prime material plane are entirely irrelevant to me. Other than making the game pretty enough that I think that like normal people will play it, which is something that I think Amplitude not only meets that criteria but excels beyond belief to the point where even I have to start paying attention to how beautiful the artwork is. Beyond that, all of this really could not be a spreadsheet, but just like a wall of insane code, and I would be mesmerized by it. Because that's where I am. It is mesmerizing. That was your nickname in high school. Let's see here. We could dump an embassy, honestly. We just drop in an embassy and probably get it done next turn too. We're gonna get 60 production, 111 production, so we'll have like maybe 60-ish production left. So we might even just like attach a couple of outposts and then whip like crazy. That whip button needs to be better in vanilla. I don't know how we communicate that to Amplitude, but it needs to be better. Cause it's so good. I love it. I love it so much. All right, so we'll get this next turn and we'll flip on turn 16 probably, but we'll want to get these numbers as high as they can be, and I think we're going to do that. I think we're probably not going to be able to do it with that builder star. I don't know. Can we get that builder star? Are we going to have enough influence to do that? Maybe. I don't know. Let's find out. But we're definitely going to want to get all of the expansion stars by just randomly attaching things. So we are not going to get the third science star here. And we didn't build a Diplo or an envoy because I really cannot remember ever to do that. That is an object beyond my skill level. Remembering to do things. Remembering to do basic things in regards to your scoring. Yeah, attach stuff with influence. It's just like it's such a clean option here. We've got 3 out of 4, 4 out of 4. I think I can justify it because these will lose their feed to local things, right? When I attach this, it'll lose that bonus. Even when I flip out, or rather, even when I flip out to the next era, I'm going to lose that bonus anyway. So I might as well go here, grab this. Don't think we can grab another tile, but maybe we could. I mean, if we had like 1,000,000 influence, then we could just go over here and scout. Let's attach a couple of outposts first to get our points. So that's a 4, and this is a 6. So let's go here. And this is a good harbor up there, so let's get that. It still has 4 pops. Yep, it still has 4 pops and 1,000,000 food out of that harbor. We are starving to death, but that's a fixable problem. And looks like we're gonna be at 2,700 this turn, or 2,400 this time. I mean, that's still like way ahead of everybody else in terms of just basic fame and again, not that fame is actually like good to farm early, but it's also sort of like a score indicator. And so if you get an absurd amount of widgets early game, you will get a lot of fame, and the combination of that means that like sometimes it's actually fine to be ahead on fame as long as you're growing to get the fame rather than not growing to get the fame. Then getting fame is usually pretty good. Oh, Bruno, do you know when you chop, if you start the chop in the ancient and then roll over to the classical, does it update the amount of production that you get? Because it feels like it doesn't. It feels like you get this amount at that time, even if the number has changed based off of the infrastructure and technology that you're at, which maybe that's intentional, but I don't know. That doesn't feel very good to me. It feels like it would be better if it didn't function that way. I guess let's test. I'm pretty sure that we will only get 20 production off of this, despite the fact that we're gonna flip into classical here, and so we should be getting 40. Oh my god, are we gonna get another science star? Okay, well, now we're at 2,700 fame again. Good lord. So dumb. Can I whip this out? For 2 pops, I could whip it. It doesn't give us any points, but it does give us an embassy for the purposes of doing build things for the AI if they want to make a wonder. That's apparently something that we cannot do in vanilla because it is broken beyond all belief. But if you interact with the AI, you can do with the together we rule thing. You can do monumental contractors and just like build a wonder for an AI instead of for yourself and get infinity influence early. I mean, maybe. I'm not gonna lie to you, Bruno. The only thing I know what to do with this is to demand all and then fight the AI and win, or demand all and then fight the AI and then lose. Like that's what it is. This is +5 to renounce, to abandon, and I need 20, right? I just if I want to start scoring that bucket, the right thing to do is what I am not doing, which is like build an envoy earlier than I am currently doing. That is a fixable behavior. I have not fixed it yet, but it is a fixable behavior. I don't think it matters though. I think very demonstrably, yeah, we need 4 to do that. We are very far away from being able to do that, unfortunately, but I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I think we are burying the game with widgets at the moment. All right, yeah, let's do this. Let's do another clear forest. It'll cost us even more production out of Polaris Australis. So it's if this does not update to 40, then this is like actively bad for us to be chopping down those with abstain on the board. But this is for science. We have to do these things for science, and none of you can stop me. Let's see. Nah, don't build that. That sucks. Let's see. I guess we could also potentially line up to attach more things to Macumba. Or just make another city. Oh, we still have so much influence that we can add a horse ranch that'll explore that. How close are we on Builder Star? We need 4 more. Oh man, we're like 60 influence short of getting another star this turn. So I guess that's good. Like, at least we don't have that also to go berserk with. But we can do a float down here, drop a pioneer, and then you're inside my territory. You're at 13 strength. We're at 14 strength because of stone weapons. Can we pick up? No, we're a little short on professionals. and we're a little short on buying another pioneer out, so we can still fight with 14 to 13, drive it off. And then I guess we'll move back. It's like a 4. That was not correct to do. I think that was an opportunity for me to experiment with the upper limits of what you can do with Bantu. Not worth the influence, but definitely worth the experience in terms of player development. But if you have a buttload of influence, that does seem good. Like, move somewhere, drop a pioneer, move somewhere else, drop another pioneer. Saves you a butt ton of turns. Alright, cool. We are ascending into another thing here, and I guess let's see if we can use something other than the Celts. I mean, I guess we could technically flip into Huns just to roll it forward. But I don't really feel like I need to. Achaemenid Persians are just really strong. Romans. Do people use Greeks at all, Bruno, in vanilla? +2 science per researcher on city or outpost. It does not seem like it scales insanely well, to be honest. And although this is a research quarter, it's a research quarter that doesn't provide jobs. And I don't know how the hoplite, like, military bonus works in auto-resolve, but, like, between all of these things, the Greeks look pretty garbage, to me, honestly. But that could be a misevaluation thing, but they don't seem like very powerful. You've seen them being used mostly for feudalism rushes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I could see that. And, like, sometimes my evaluation in terms of demanding more jobs is also, like, not always useful, but I think generically being able to pick up research slots is probably pretty good. Yes, Han, where we're supposed to be using the ability to pick up this stuff on the board instead of ignoring it, the rules of the game and not knowing what Diplo Star does. Perfect. We reached the classical era. We did not have enough to overflow pop, but we almost did. If we had had 48, then we would have rolled into this and immediately picked up an agrarian star. That seems like something that needs to be fixed, but that it does, again, feel like something that is fixable. All right, Bruno, what did you want to do for the run here? Because you said you had, like, I think I probably have time to do, like, one more test if you had like a different setting map things to work with. Should we play on normal speed just to see if they feel really different on normal speed? I assume that they do, because if you need 40 food to get an extra Bantu Pioneer rather than 20, then, like, the behavior of nuking the board with outposts does seem like it would still be very powerful. But, like, you won't be able to use the Pioneers as much to, like, get a bunch of extra Pioneers during the Ancient Era rather than during the Neolithic. So play Neolithic. Do you mean on normal speed, Bruno, or like the way that I normally play? Because I don't know how to not play that way. To, like, get a bunch of resources in the Neolithic just feels like it is the only way to respect the game's rules in a way that is recognizable to me. That's why the AI leaving on turn 3 drives me insane with grief. Play normally. Do you think it's worth it to try on normal, or should we just, like, run with fast and just see what happens? Okay, yeah, let's just run on fast. This is my favorite speed by an enormous margin. I think there's value in playing on normal and blitz, but this is my very, very favorite by a huge margin on this and Endless Space 2. Did you have suggestions for here instead? Or, like, map size or anything like that? This is gonna be, like, the funniest stream on YouTube, to be entirely honest, because it's gonna be like 45 views, 2 runs with 2,700 fame back to back, and instead of translating that into a clickbait thumbnail and title and, like, oh my god, come look at this explosively broken thing, Like, it's Bantu madness with a thumbnail that only communicates insanity to it. All right, so Bruno says, when starting the Bantu era, your first research should be city defense. Rush one warrior. Use that warrior to supplement your pioneer claiming with that warrior. Oh, so you just like spend the pops out of, well, the one of the problems in that last run was that we had I think we had literal zero population in our cities before the outposts started rolling in. But I can still pick up city defense pretty quickly and still use a warrior that way. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see how it works. We will see if we get screwed on map RNG and cannot get things to happen. Because I don't really know how often you get hosed by map RNG. It's not like Wonder Architects, where I did like honestly probably 60 spawns to try to figure out roughly how bad the map gen was when trying to use Wonder Architects in Age of Wonders 4. This one I've done a half a dozen times before this. But I did notice that there are definitely spawns where like I cannot do anything with the Bantu, but I was also trying to like go wide in ways that did not respect what the Bantu was telling me to do, so I don't know how valuable that data was. All right, give me 10 food. Don't give me 5. Ah, you dick. Well, all right, whatever. Yeah, we'll take astronomy again because we're just doing Bantu stuff. This does look like a really solid, like, physical location already because I see so many tiles that overlap. So all I'm really looking for now is food. Which, I mean, I guess we might still find. There's fresh water right here. But this also, do you know if there's like a favorite kind of climate that mammoths spawn on? Because it feels like mammoths spawn on like terrain where there's less normal food availability, like tundras and whatnot. That seems to be the case. All right, let's go back here. Let's get nuts. You're nuts. You are nuts. You are allergic to tree nuts, Walker. I'm allergic to most tree nuts. That is true. Deep cut Walker lore, allergic to most tree nuts. Let's see. Okay, so we get another pop. Good. Yeah, like some of this stuff also I do not expect the Amplitude to actually like put in the game in terms of being able to observe through the UI. I think things like the instant resolution solution are honestly like critical for communication with the player, and I think good UI in terms of the other things, I don't know if I would rank as critical, but I would rank as being very, very important. I am allergic to nutting. I'm allergic to many unnecessarily confusing things, but really what it boils down to is if I ever become too dangerous, then all you have to do is feed me sunflower seeds surreptitiously and I will die. I have a kill switch in terms of like ways to eliminate me when I become a dangerous person. So I feel like I can float near the line of dangerous person a lot more morally than other people can. I guess we'll take hunting party now. Like, I still mostly really do want to be taking just influence off of that decision most of the time if it's available to get. But I'm okay taking some food just for science. All right, so this looks like a tile, and then maybe that is a tile. So can you make anything useful here? A 10-6 is okay. Yeah, whatever. 10-6 is fine. I don't know what that is, Bruno. You're gonna have to tell me. Like, that's the other side of things. The curse of Walker is that I am, despite having a bunch of random food allergies, that is not an excuse for like having restricted food preferences. I want to learn about the world by putting objects into my mouth, and so my food allergies like get in the way of me exploring the universe in the method that I want to explore. So instead, I have to play video games. I want to eat all these things. My body will not allow me to eat all of these things. It is my curse. It is my burden. Is it so? This I assume khachapuri. Khachapuri. Is this like a hot sauce? I might have actually heard of that, Bruno. If it's a hot sauce that I can eat, I am 100% here for it. Eileen can attest very loudly that I eat all sorts of hot sauces that are like really not beyond my risk tolerance and pain tolerance for spicy things, but like beyond my pain tolerance for the consequences of having eaten them later. Georgia's national dish. I assume you mean the country of Georgia, because you are a fancy boy with exposure to global worldly events instead of an insane hermit with exposure to anime. I like Georgia, the nation. I think it's a cool nation. It's also my Discord PMs. All right, good. Yeah, send me as also Bruno. I know the next thumbnail for the vanilla content stream is done, so you don't have to send me any offensive math for that, because I'm just using Stanchik. But you need to send me more offensive math to turn into nonsense thumbnails. Send me some more clips like whatever we had on the first VIP thing, and I'll turn it into a thumbnail that communicates nothing except madness. It's what I want to do, Bruno. Help me make content that confuses people. Only you can light the way. Alright, looks like we are going to have nowhere near enough influence to make 2 cities immediately, because we have found literal 0 animals in this run. So this looks like a run where the physical environment looks like it's pretty well set up for us to use Bantu, but the second order problem of do you have the resources to leverage it and have 2 cities with a bunch of tiles they can share overlap, looks like we did not meet that requirement. Like this tile would have 2 tiles to share with Balenos, but we are at 14 influence right now, and we haven't even set that tile up. Yeah, we have a couple of animals to our west, so we can just spend some turns like dicking around in the Neolithic era, collecting infinite pops and doing silly things, because we're on non-exclusive cultures for science reasons. If that means we wait to flip so that way we can kill more animals first, then that's what we do. I mean, this is a really good tile. This is a really good tile. There are a lot of really good tiles here. That is absolutely true. We just need to have encountered some of these animals a couple of turns ago. But here, that's a good fight. Yeah, we can do this. Go there, take that fight, and then this one can sweep through here and take that fight. Clearing in turn. Kill them. Well, I mean, we're not just killing them, guy. We're going to eat them. That's part of the Geist here, is we have to not just kill the deer, we must absorb its spirit. Let's see. Guess we'll go here. Yeah, I think this is actually, no, this is the tile, right? This city, if we set up this tile, although it will have a lot of, maybe this map isn't actually favorable for Bantu, because this is the only one that really overlaps well with Balenos. These 2 are the only shared things here, right? Or maybe this wasn't supposed to be this city. Maybe it was supposed to be this city, and that is a city. But then we need like 4 million influence to make that happen. Oh, whatever. The fact that this city sucks is inconsequential. We will never learn our lesson. We will make bad cities, and none of you can stop me. That's where this last run is. How ridiculously inefficient can these cities get while still doing good things? Oh no, a release bug where the animal hunting food would be split amongst all armies in the region. Yeah, that does sound like that would be pretty bad in terms of hunting residuals. Let's hang out in this area because this looks like it's going to be a very easy tile. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, these guys can do some kind of river monstrosity here. And then I guess this could be another object down here that we build. Yeah, this could be another object down here that we build. And then you can go back out east. Good. Yeah, we'll get both of those right away. We will be behind on influence temporarily though. But that's fine. Should we flip now then? Or do we wait one more turn? Now, whatever. Let's flip on 8. Where are you, Bantu? I've only moused over to exclusive U all day. I should probably remember the order of the alphabet by now. All right. Yes, we immediately unlock the Agrarian Star. That's good. Like that. I suppose this could be the best location because this is adjacent to a bunch of random stuff. Wait, too late. What did I do? What did I do, Bruno? What did I do wrong? Remember the opening. The opening is kill and eat things.exe. Let's see, let's go here. Oh, right. First research should be city defense, and then use that to supplement your pioneer claiming with that warrior. Well, like, with what pops, though, Bruno? Because right now I don't really feel like I should be wasting production on this. Unless it creates a warrior who, like, doesn't disappear into the city, right? That feels like a good thing to do, but it feels like a thing that is also situational to where the map is for you. Let's see, we can still get 3. And then we can still relocate if we do this. Here. Can we get anywhere deeper than that with 4 pops? No. Yeah, you're right. This could have easily been a map, like a setup where I wanted to get the hunting star, because it really would be solid. Because getting a million extra influence in order to get our extra city out really is that good. Kind of doesn't matter what you're doing. Getting a million extra city is usually pretty good, or a million extra resources and widgets from having 2 cities is really good for you. All right, so we can still take this. It's a really weird, goofy looking tile, but it's a weird, goofy looking tile that we can fix pretty cleanly. Because we're not going to be able to get the second city immediately, maybe we do take shamanism here. But this is something where generically polytheism is just like infinity better. If your start is good and your plan on getting a second city immediately is good, then that is good, pretty obviously. Maybe we should drop. We have exactly the right amount of influence to drop a pop and moves though, so I kind of want to do that. And then we still have 4 pioneers, and we should be able to make some more value out of bead or Polaris Australis. This is what we should be able to get value out of. All right, so Bruno says city defense first. We got like absolutely no science right now because we don't have a city. That's why we don't have any science. We don't have a city. Well, I guess we can fix that. This is the better city, so we should make this one. That city is atrocious, so we'll figure out how greedy we are getting and the dangers involved. Wait a second. Stone rings. It's because I haven't picked the thing yet. That's why it looks like that. Well, if Polaris Australis was the thing, then it would have a crap ton of adjacency, so it would be actually a great capital. But it would, I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe I should have done that, and then I could have still done this, like, stupid Tundra capital, or second city, and then the stupid Tundra city would still have the same number of things. Yeah, maybe you're right, Bruno. I don't know. Like, maybe this was supposed to be the right decision. We have 2 more turns on city defense, so we can grab Pottery Workshop. And then, hopefully we will be able to get a second city here immediately. Oh, it's Stone Rings because I have Shamanism and not Polytheism. Ooh. This city, sorry, excuse me. This city here does not look like it's going to make warriors that can do stuff particularly well here, though. Bruno, because like I assume that the point of being able to make the warriors to go out and do things is to have somewhere for them to go, and where they have to go now, because I don't have like a garrison built here, which I guess I could just attach Polaris Australis and then I'll have a garrison that I could then spawn out of. Maybe that's what I have to do. But it sure feels like this city really, you were right. This city does not look particularly good because of where it is in location. Like, I'm just not gonna be able to spawn where I need the units to go to be in order to get the thing done that you want to get done. Don't tell Bruno. Just build a warrior and send him into the wilds. Okay, so we got another pop. We've got plenty. Yeah, exactly. We are here to test and feel things. We will still make the warrior. I may be testing the warrior under pretty far from ideal circumstances now that I am looking at the board in question, so I don't know how valuable the data will be, but that's okay. It's, yeah, exactly. You just roll with it. Like, the right thing to do if you are attempting to make a guide that allows for risk or mistakes is to allow yourself to make risks and mistakes. And part of that is remembering the horrible curse that Bruno has inflicted. Look at this. Look at this, everybody. They run away from your cursor. Ha 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 ha. I'm never forgiving you for that, by the way. Every time I load this game, I have to remind myself that I am here to do something other than chase them around. And that is your fault. You cannot deny responsibility for this, Bruno. I hope you're proud of the things that you did. Yeah, this Maker's Quarter is ballistic. This is so bad. Sure, there we go. Great. Thanks for making another stupid bad city, Walker. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. We're gonna get so many outposts that I won't even matter. The cursor thing happens in EL2? Oh. Are we allowed to talk about that? I really don't know. I really don't know what I'm allowed to talk about, what I'm allowed to do in terms of that content, because I don't understand what Amplitude wants from me. I know what I want from me, which is to make content that will confuse and horrify people, but I don't know what they want. All right, should we make the warrior immediately? Because I want to attach this and then make a garrison and then make the warrior. Just so that way it's like over here instead of like way over here, but maybe that's just so many extra turns that it isn't worth it. Four turns. 4 turns. Well, we'll get there. Slowly. Agonizingly slowly. let's see. Hey, look at this. Got another nice little pop-up, but no fame. I assume that means that, yes, there it is, under the colors, that there's an AI who's getting in our way. Yeah, you're right. Like, we'll start on the warrior, and then we'll probably be able to buy it out in a turn or two. Or we could just, like, push it through for a turn and then pop back and just accept that we were going to have a turn without research. Which doesn't even sound like the end of the universe. I'd rather be doing, like, stronger things like we did in pick 1 and 2. Or 2 and 3. But we don't have the influence to afford it. Maybe we should have waited, but we only had one sanctuary to farm off of too. Starting on a peninsula in Humankind is very frustrating in terms of map generation and the consequences of the game design. If you start on a peninsula, especially a peninsula without animals, I do not see how the average person is going to have fun. Oh, here you go, Bruno. We did it. We got a warrior anyway. So, no, nomadic units cannot be added to regular armies. What are you doing to me, Bruno? Are you just tricking me into making mistakes for stream? I can't do this. What are you doing? Why are you lying? I thought we were friends, Bruno. I can't add this warrior. Oh, was this a thing that used to be abusive and now is fixed? Explain to me why you were making me queue this. Oh, this will build with influence like any other culture. Well, that's still good, but we need the second city. Like any other culture, no. You don't add, yeah, so what you're saying is I could just move around and build with influence with this guy. I mean, that is good. I'm not wasting production on this now though, because I don't have any influence. You're just tricking me, Bruno. You're tricking me in chat into making decisions that will make me chase around bison again. Okay, well, that's good. That means that there's another way to leverage Bantu in the event that we get a high roll. This doesn't look like a high roll. This looks like a roll where, honestly, the Bantu are probably not going to be very good again. Partially, probably because of my decision to take this as a city rather than this. Partially because of my decision to not delay flipping until we hit, like, more animals. But, like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Bruno. So Bruno's saying that you can use warriors to make regular outposts using influence while also using Big ND pioneers to make pioneer outposts, which means that you can like double dip and like omega vomit things onto the board. In this particular setup, I needed probably to be more careful in regards to where our cities went, but also I don't think we really had the influence to make either Big ND pioneers or using an extra warrior to support it, like, incredibly strong. But that's okay. It does reinforce kind of, or at least this spawn and my potential mismanagement of it reinforces like my priors in regards to the Bantu, which is that there are some map spawns where they're just not very good. Now that I have seen the upside of those last two runs, I am convinced that they are ridiculously powerful when the sources align, but I'm not sure how often that is. Seems like it's a meaningful amount of time, because we did get it twice in a row, and it is obviously going to be something that's dependent on map settings, so like it's not something that I can like dismiss entirely or even dismiss at all, but it remains something where I don't really know the total risk package involved with that, and so if they're overpowered, like grotesquely overpowered some of the time and then don't do a lot the other time, I would consider that not good. Given how beginning outposts don't care about distance your cities and regular outpost claiming do, then you want to use the warrior to claim territories near your cities and then the pioneers to claim far. Yeah, I'm sure you're right, Bruno. Like, I'm going to need to play with Bantu, like, a lot more than I have been and look for opportunities to use them. But I need to know how often the problems with them are being smoothed out with manuals versus mammoths, because if that's how people are smoothing out the Bantu experience and then saying they're overpowered, then I don't know, that's dumb. That is how you end up creating noob traps in like any 4X. If you're like if you're balancing things on the strategic layer around people abusing the tactical AI, not to revisit that rant every single stream, because I feel like I'm getting to the point emotionally where anyone who shows up and demands that I explain myself, I'll just tell them to go watch that video now, so that way I don't have to like rant about it in every single VOD, so that people who value their time and sanity are at least a little more likely to click on my videos. But it's so obviously logically going to cause problems in terms of new traps, because if you're balancing around like 70, 80th percentile players, people who are good enough to understand how to exploit the AI, but not good enough to understand that this is going to have strategic layer consequences, and then balancing the strategic layer based off of the exploitation of the tactical layer. For any newer player who is not exploiting the tactical layer, you are making their strategic layer gameplay worse by balancing in that direction. And there are a lot of people in the 4X space who are not like psychotic murder the AI in tactical battles like monsters. There are a lot of people who want to just play the game and have fun, and like anytime that game balance decisions get made to hurt those people and protect the like people who like exploiting the AI, I know why some of those charts are so bad on Steam. Like that behavior from developers is why some of those games do not have as many players as they should, because they got like 90% of the way there towards making a good game and then like face planted on execution by grotesquely misevaluating the potential like player base for the 4X genre. Not all of the streams are gonna be like this, I promise. We're not just doing like rant at 4X developers streams, but like I am impassioned about this. This matters. I'm gonna be really angry if I don't have 4X games to play in 5 years, because developers just like iterate on the same mistake over and over and over and over again instead of learning how to use different tools in their toolbox and different ways of assessing data in their toolbox. That will force me to send somebody a clump of my hair. All right, let's see. Let's go here. We don't have enough influence to do the fancy stuff. So yeah, this does look like it's going to be another like not good Bantu run, and I'm not sure if that's because of mistakes of my own, but it definitely feels like there are big deltas between map outcomes, and I need to figure out where those deltas are smoothable with my own behaviors. And that's the discovery process of playing a 4X. That's the thing that's fun. That's the thing that is enjoyable. You tricked me into leaving science, Bruno, by distracting me with your promises of warriors. I guess we'll make one more warrior, honestly, just because like a warrior could be sent out here to chop down some stuff. It looks like we're going to get turn 14, we're gonna get the second city here, and the second city is gonna still need like a lot of time to grow. So yeah, this is gonna be a much slower growth pattern. Like here we are at 1750 versus 600. Yeah, I mean it could be a skill issue. That is true. But it does 100% like people who do not understand how random different starts are in 4X's confuse me. Like that's part of what makes the genre replayable in my experience, is that you can have some starts that are a lot better than others, and that lets like casual players also just re-roll until they get a good start that they want to play on, And that's good. That is good. People who are angry about that are also dumb. I'm not I'm not afraid to just call an infinite number of people on the internet dumb. That's kind of the vibe of the channel sometimes too. But like making it too smoothed out an experience so that like new players get trampled by not knowing the rules, and old players do not see random outcomes that create new and interesting things for them to respond to. It's a bad balanced decision because it hurts most players. It's only helping the players who want a very particular experience in regards to the 4X genre, and I think we're better than that. I hope we're better than that. I believe we are better than that. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we will still be able to add another Burgundy Pioneer here next turn, but we are grotesquely behind on influence by now in comparison to the last two. So yeah, like this run could be a skill issue. It is going to be difficult to know, except with the advantage of hindsight and the ability to look at the results that we collected and think about them and respond to them. And that's the power of streaming. That I get to go back and look at all of this data and determine whether or not what we did made sense or not, and if there's a way to optimize what we did or not in a way that is translatable to the average player. And I think that there usually is. Wait, you ran forward with a retreating scout? AI, you need to explain your homework to me. Like, what is going on here? Why did you walk over here for me to kill you? Other than because you are Alicia Deathseeker and you just seek release from reality. Why are you letting me kill you? Explain yourself. Did you get any further on attempting to strong arm Amplitude to let me release that? Because I wanna stream that, man. Like, I want to do that as a gigantic 9-hour stream of madness. The cliffs of madness. I guess we'll go here. But if we're gonna go there, then I guess it's better to go here, make a couple, and then come back. But we don't really have influence to do all that fancy stuff. Yeah, we'll just take 2. We'll come back. The answer was clear. Walker needs to stop DMing me on Discord. That's the answer. Walker needs to leave me alone. I have a real job that I'm trying to do. Let's see. I guess we'll go this direction. Can we get over there? I did, though, Bruno. I have the receipts to prove it. I DM'd Dark Arrow. I'm not mad about him not responding to that, because I understand that he was coming back from paternity leave, but, like, I did DM him, and then Kat, like, basically said, I really, honest to God, do not have time to deal with this right now, which is fine. I do appreciate that. I kind of don't have time to deal with it right now either. The things that I do confound me, but, I did that. I can prove that I did that. The Discord thing is very easy to find. No, I didn't. I waited until he was back. I waited literally until he posted in Discord. I did it at the time that I imagine 10,000 other people DM'd Dark Arrow once he got back from paternity leave. But I did wait until he was back from paternity leave, and then I bothered him. I have the timestamps for that too. Like, that is not difficult to prove. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, wait. Well, I mean, I DM'd Kat when you told me to DM Kat. Do not lie to me, Bruno. I DM'd Kat because you told me to DM Kat. I'm not anxious about, like, why haven't I heard back in 2 days? Like, that's fine. It's just like I have done the things that I feel like have been asked to do so far. And if they disagree, then their interpretation of the facts is fundamentally different from the facts that I have in my hand. No, no. Sorry, I DM'd her when you told me to. So that is like totally understandable that I have not heard back yet. Like they again considerably more important things to do than humor my nonsense. So that is definitely understandable. But I did DM them. I did DM them, and if they want to make me out to just be like someone who exclusively plays whisper campaigns and is crazy, then like that seems like a problem, because that is not the case. I have the details to prove it. It's not hard to see. Let's see. I guess we could still make another one to go out here. Yeah. No, that's fine. Like, whatever. My point in leveraging you is to attempt to see how well they trust you and your judgment, because that's another thing that's just like ontologically important to me. If I'm to work with people, I require that they have the ability to trust the people that they work with. And I trust you, Bruno, and I assume that they trust you as well. But if they do not, and do not trust your recommendations of like, just don't read this, you'll go insane, just let them read it, it's probably fine, then like that seems like a systemic problem in terms of behaviors. And that's what I want to solve: systemic problems in terms of behaviors. That's what motivates me. That's what makes me feel alive, Bruno. Actually, I should definitely not build a trash maker's quarter. I'm going to build a bad farmer's quarter instead, but a trash maker's quarter really would be trash, and then I can follow it up with a maker's quarter over here. Yeah, it looks like this is testing the upper limits of Bantu and demonstrating that there are ways to manage this better and get more out of it, in ways that mean that there is a downside to taking them and not knowing what you're doing. And that is something that I did discover on the tier list 10,000 years ago, is that like obviously I did not know what I was doing when I ranked these as being not good. They are ridiculously good when the situation arises that you can use them. Yeah, we'll go here. Run. Good. Get out of here. But I can still delete this pickup, right? If I move onto it, it'll disappear. I think that's the way that'll work. But yeah, this is a much more reasonable and fair start. Air quotes around fair, but much more reasonable and fair start for these guys, it looks like, in terms of what we're going to get in terms of outcomes, because it's going to be turn... I can't see it because my thing is in the way, but it's turn 18, and we're like at half of the fame points that we were on the last one. So it does have enormous snowballing potential. It's just a question of like lining it up well. Yeah, here we go. And we can still get a tile out here. Yeah, this looks okay. Oh, no, we can't get that tile because we don't have... Oh, no. Maybe we could have if we grabbed that. But now this is 98 influence for this. And now even if we get a pop off of this, then the old pop won't have the movement points. I guess it's fine, because we do technically have no fourth pop out here anyway. So we could just move Ginon, drop that. Yeah, alright, so let's come back, get Vision here, drop a Pioneer, get 19 food. Alright, 19 food. Seems pretty decent. And then we can get another, yeah, we'll just hold there, and then that'll grab that as another outpost. And then I think we're gonna try to flip, but it looks like indeed this either through mismanagement or through map generation is not going to be as good as the first two. So I'm going to have to continue to practice with the Bantu and see like the full limits of their power and when and how they become outrageously powerful, and if there are ways to potentially make them a little more reasonable sometimes. But I'm okay burning off 10 food here. It doesn't matter. Like I want to get all of these outposts. That's what I want. I'm going to get 10,000 outposts. Yeah, I'm going to get 10,000 outposts. All right, so let's see. Let's go here and build. I guess it doesn't matter what you're building here, Walker. You're not actually completing the save file. You're just doing nonsense at this point. Stop wasting Bruno's time. that could also be the name of some of these streams. I don't know. I'm gonna do some things that might be strange but will make me happy, and that is important to my ability to make content. We will make some strange content, and some of it might be bizarro world named things like that. Boom. All right. No, we're gonna be able to do this turn, right? Do we have enough influence to do some attaching? I think we do. Yeah, let's get some legitimacy. Let's get attach outpost. We have 36. We could potentially get a harbor, but that's not even a very good harbor. This could potentially be useful because we get industry on makers quarters at least, but we don't really. I mean, we have 2 makers quarters already, so that's some. But this I think is more, right? Yeah, die on all cities, so that's 9. So let's grab that, and now we have 16, so we can grab that, and I guess we'll grab this because this is in the middle of the map. And there we go. Yeah, much slower start. Only 36 pops on turn 20 instead of like 46 pops on turn 16 or whatever. But I'm convinced that beyond a shadow of a doubt that my evaluation on Bantu on one of the tier lists where I probably gave it D was just like an artifact of the fact that I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing with it and did not play with it enough to like expand on that. And that's another thing that like I can tell whenever I'm watching another content creator's playlist, like tier list, how I can tell very clearly how much homework they did, because I know in my own content when I did not do the homework and like my evaluation of the fundamentals and when it is wrong. And it's usually just a timing thing. Like you don't have time to play every single thing in the universe, but you do have time to ask people where you are most wrong and then learn from it. And I'm really excited to be doing multiplayer for exactly that reason, because I know there are a lot of things in the mid and late game that I have no idea what they're supposed to do, because I have no idea what they are supposed to do. Like, we will see in the vanilla stream on Monday if we are capable of killing an AI early, because I don't mismanage the early game and like execute a timing attack well, that I will then still follow the same patterns of just being a colossal idiot in the mid and late game, but it won't matter if you successfully attack early and do well. Then it's not good for the opponents in the game at all. Like you just annihilate people if you manage to absorb someone with relatively low losses, which you can do in auto resolves. You just need to be better than I am at paying attention to the game. All right, well that's all for now, and we will see you guys on Monday. All right, take care.